Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. This is DSP News, the unreliable ones. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the newsroom and welcome to the Galtopia News Network, your unreliable source for DSP News. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Snort Report. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys are doing well. I didn't actually mean to say ladies and gentlemen twice like that, but you know how I do. And this will be, I guess, my first broadcast of Phil being out of town. Yay. Now, as you guys may or may not know, Twitter is going to have basically a day-by-day coverage of Phil's coming and goings, so that should be interesting. I'm thinking about actually doing a welcome back broadcast, which will go over literally everything that at least we saw him do over his vacation. If that's something you guys are interested in, let me know, as I am compiling all the stuff for that. We have a thank you list up there. It's really for everybody, and I just had Asian GTG throw it together for me real quick, and I just really appreciate you guys just kind of giving me the opportunity, giving us here at GTG Network Productions the opportunity. For some of you guys who have been around for a really long time, it's been a really, really long time, and we've gone through a lot, which is kind of, I guess it's kind of weird to think of, you know what I'm saying? And as I've spent going on like my second season, I guess, or 2 years or whatever you want to call it, going over the pigroach, one of the things that I take away from what he does is his lack of appreciation for anything. And I don't even mean just his fan base, his family, his friends, or what used to be friends. Everything, the opportunities that he's had, that he's squandered, all of these things. It's amazing to see someone have so much, or at one time or another have so much, and throw it away off on the whim, and then be mad that it won't come back. It's an absolutely amazing situation. And I guess, not even I guess, I mean, do we really need to guess? It just goes to show, ladies and gentlemen, that no matter what you're doing, whether on the internet, in life, whatever the case may be, appreciate the people around you, because no one is obligated to you in general outside of your parents. Outside of your parents, no one's obligated to you, and it's very easy to take people for granted. And life is short, and sadly, it's getting shorter. For some people more than others. So just thank you. You know what I mean? From myself and everybody here at GTG Network Productions, we very much appreciate it. And I'm very thankful for those who hit me up on Twitter and be like, hey, this might be interesting. Hey, this might be interesting. Or it's definitely really, really nice to kind of be able to step out of the newsroom and be able to ask somebody, hey, do you remember this? And if you do, where can I find this? And someone being like, bam, I got you. Here it goes. And there's a couple of people on Twitter who come through on the clutch like that. A few of them are on screen right now. And so thank you very much to Toasted and Killa, for example. You guys are two of a few people who actually come through and help us out on that. And I very much appreciate it. James the Lesser's been great. Mighty D's not up there, like I said. You know Asian GTG. He a hater and a feeder, but he a hater. And so he just threw a bunch of names up. Just thank you to everybody who I've ever been associated with, who I've ever talked to. Even, for ill or nil, you know what I'm saying? The time that we had together was really cool, and I really appreciated it. So thank you very much. Speaking of that feeder thing, right? I may or may not have lost a particular bet, and so in in kind of the footsteps of Almighty Tevin, praise be, I might have to do a video on either Amber Lynn or Foodie Beauty. I know it's tragic. It's very tragic, because I didn't think I was gonna lose this bet. I really didn't. I really didn't. Okay, I just wanted to sit over there on the couch there and then just watch Asian GTG have to just go through that shit and laugh my ass off like these assholes do to me. But no, I've bet wrong, ladies and gentlemen. I've bet wrong. In either case, look out for that. It should be exciting. And I think I've watched the majority of Tevin when he goes over some of Amber Lynn Reed's videos, so I guess I have an idea of what I'm stepping into. Kinda. Her Kiwi Farberware thread is wild though. I'm not gonna front. But yeah, so I lost a bet, so I might have to fulfill it doing one of those videos. So just look out for that. So if you see some random videos come up over the next whenever they come up, you know why. Anyway, also yet again, shouts out to Killa, who did a review on an air fryer, and I was always interested in buying one. And after watching his video, I'm going to buy one. And if I like it, I'm gonna send one to my parents too. Now this is coming from someone who has an indoor grill, like the small indoor grills, the smokeless ones, and I also have an outdoor grill too. But I kind of like that air fryer. I'm not gonna front, like I kind of like that air fryer. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm looking at shopping around and ordering one. I might try to just order the one that he has because it looked really cool and it looks like it'll fit all my functions and stuff that I want to do for it. And nobody else here in the newsroom is gonna get to use it because none of the motherfuckers gonna clean it. So shouts out to Killa yet again for that, man. Thank you. If I can find his video, I will link it in the description. It's like 4 or 5 minutes long. I think it's a good video. I think you guys should watch it. And I will definitely shout that video out on the Wings Report when that comes around because, you know, it's only fitting given what he was cooking in that air fryer. So there you go on that. Ladies and gentlemen, I've got a special little treat for you today. So since this is my first broadcast of doing something while Phil's gone, we're going to go back a little bit. As you guys know, I've been working on this project and whatnot, where some people have been helping me try to gather some of this stuff up, going over Phil's tax situation. Now, as you guys know, his supposed losing my house situation kind of bleeds into that tax situation. So you kind of got to go back a ways, and you got to pick and choose, and so on and so forth. And there's some other stuff further back on a whole nother subject that I'm looking for. So there's just a lot going on. But as you guys know, I'm working on a tax video, right? Like I want to try to have, I don't know how comprehensive it's going to be, but a general timeline of Phil's shenanigans from the time he announced it up till present day, where he's on vacation, all expenses paid by my sick and dying parents, and so on and so forth. You know, 1 week I can't go, I got to get this money for these taxes together, if not I'm gonna lose my house. To the next minute, mommy and daddy are gonna pay for me to go out there, and I have to go out there because this might be the last time I'm gonna see them, so I can write them off and finally lock in what's gonna be in the will. It's a clusterfuck. So I'm gonna have 3 videos for you in this broadcast. All 3 of them are brought to you by Burnell, one of our favorites. But we're gonna actually delve a little bit deeper. One video will be from Burnell, obviously, but the other 2 are going to be from Burnell 2, which is Burnell's older channel. He has Burnell has a bunch of gems. I'm going to keep it ambiguous because we don't really know who Burnell is, but has a bunch of gems over there. So I decided to go back and I found 2 videos that were based off 2 other videos that I was looking for that I couldn't find. But Kenny and Kevin did find these 2. So shouts out to Kenny and Kevin coming through on the clutch. First video is going to be KO Gaming / DsPgaming on the verge of losing my house. This is from September 19th of 2017. And then I'm going to bring you a follow-up to that video, KO Gaming / DsPgaming, Pigroach Choice, disrespecting Patreon goals. That right there was from September 16th of 2017. Now, here's my reasoning behind all that. I want you guys to hear, for some of you guys who may have, you might have not remembered it. Maybe some of you weren't around when Phil was talking his nonsense on how I'm going to potentially lose my house, and this situation popped up out of nowhere, and I felt this feeling in my gut and whatever. And the only time I felt this feeling before this moment was when I heard that my ad revenue on YouTube was going down. Yeah, I know, just greedy pig shit. But there is value in all of those things. Hence the reason why Tevin does things like the Back in Time segment. Shouts out to Almighty Tevin. There's value in his past, even if Phil doesn't see it. So we're going to go over these 2 videos. One about losing the house, second about the Pigroach Choice. The reason why this video was picked is because of Phil's basically viewer's choice situation he has coming up soon. I just wanted you guys to kind of see how this might end up getting messed up. I wanted you guys to see some of the correlations. And then we'll get into something a bit more current. It'll be the last video of the broadcast, which is yet again by Burnell. A guide allows more content, we're talking about Sekiro, and then threats against Kiwi farms. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, you guys might have not known this, but if I have a guide for a game, that I'm doing incredibly terrible at, it helps with the content. It allows me to have more content. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I told you guys the week before and the week before that, I even went on a couple epic rants about how I don't use guides. I don't do it. I get frustrated. I go down the cat. I be like, bitch, make me a sandwich. And after 20 minutes, I come back and everything just works. It just works. This is Bethesda. Everything just works. It's amazing. Well, there's a lot of companies that say that silly shit. But, yeah, whatever. If you guys have seen It's a Gundam video, you know where that reference comes from. And then he comes out and says, I do use a guide. A fan sent it to me, but I don't use it to figure out how to beat the bosses. I do it. I use it. I use it. Because it allows me to find secret stuff in the game that I couldn't find. Because you know how Phil is about his secrets. He loves his secrets. And that's what that is. Should be amusing. I hope you guys are going to be ready for me to cut this open. Because that's exactly what we're going to do. And ladies and gentlemen, there's going to be bacon on the menu today. But I decided also that we're going to go a bit more fresh. So, pancakes, Belgian waffles, strawberries, blueberries, raspberries, some cantaloupe. You know, I'm feeling like a melon type of day, to be honest with you. Some orange juice, no cappuccino, no coffee, orange juice, grapefruit juice, cranberry juice, no cherry juice unless you guys have gout, and then I will send somebody out to get you some. We're going to try to go with a light breakfast. I want you guys to start your day or start your brunch or even end your day on a much lighter note than usual. No microwave turkey burgers here. I want things to be pleasant. So that's what we're going to go with. We're going to sit down, we're going to chill, we're going to have a nice day, and hopefully you guys get to start your week off a little bit better. At least, so I hope. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Snort Report. This is DSP News. Always late, never breaking, unreliable coverage that you can't count on. Oh yes, a GTG Network Productions. You guys all know the slogan. I know you guys might not smell bacon, but you guys definitely can hear that orange juice being poured. So, let me go ahead and get the rest of this going, and it's time to watch me work.
This is how I play the game! Oh my god! What the fuck?
Oh my god. What is going on, everybody? Phil here, making a video that once again I don't want to make.
I share with you as much as I can.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are here with one of our favorites, Snort Burnell. Oh, Snort Burnell 2, actually. Oh, yes! KO Gaming / DSP Gaming. On the verge of losing his house. Ladies and gentlemen, this was brought to us by Snort Burnell on September 19th of 2017. Let's go.
When I can, but there's a lot of stuff that honestly over the years I have to hold back for the betterment of everyone around me. I know that if I'm fully transparent on everything in my entire life, that people can use that against me. And I know that, wow, do I know that way more now than I ever knew before. Let me tell you, because, you know, back then when I started on YouTube, I was very naive and, you know, sharing everything, and all my personal shit, my girlfriend, everything, just share everything. And look how a lot of that shit kind of over the years blew up in my face, right? People using that against me for malicious purposes or whatever.
And even with the recent announcement that one of the major groups that always hounded me and got into my personal shit and everything is disbanded, still.
It seems like, you know, it's never going to go away. It's not. It's never going to go away. And, you know, we're to a point where I know that constantly in my life there's going to be a negative element. I was hoping that because of this announcement of this group disbanding that things were actually going to get better for me. And in a lot of ways it seems like they were. I wasn't getting that kind of systematic harassment for the last week or two at least.
And it seemed like a lot of people were now positive about me and my stuff. Today, sadly...
Here, let me step in for a minute. I actually meant to step in a little bit earlier, but, you know, I'm trying to get breakfast together for all y'all, and all you guys are picky about certain stuff and everything, and one of you guys are talking about where is the strawberry syrup. I'm working, okay? Let me work. Please let me work, okay? It's coming. It's all coming. But first off, let's talk a little bit about how Phil was saying that I put all of my information out there. I basically, he did. He shared his whole life with everybody. That's why his past is so interesting. And how it was used against him for malicious means and purposes and so on and so forth. Ladies and gentlemen, was it not malicious? Was it not distasteful? Was it not rude? Was it not an invasion of privacy to go ahead and put out not just your own stuff? If you had kept it to that, that's on you. But to put out your family's business, your girlfriend's business, your friend's business out there for profit? A profit that none of them saw? Is that not malicious? Is that not vile? Is that not with ill intent? Semantics, maybe. Love of money. Cream. Cash rules everything around me. I got it. You're right. You're right. No problem. The second thing, and this is, and I it's been a while. It's been, over a year since this came out. So I guess this is something that I might have mentioned, because I'm sure I've gone over this video before, but if not, then at least I'll do it now because I'm thinking about it. It's amazing to think that when SOK fell, Phil believed that the tractor community was a hive mind, and if those at the top fell, if you want to look at it that way, if you want to look at the structure, everybody else was just going to stop too. Tevin was going to stop, Volt Boy was going to stop, S. Julius Cruz was going to stop, David Davison was going to stop. Everybody was just going to go away. All that shit on Twitter, like, you know what I'm saying, Dragon Killer, who now goes by DSP Archives, he was going to go ahead and stop. Tex was going to, they call me Tex, wasn't going to have an opinion on nothing no more. Bill Burnell was going to stop talking about it. A lot of the old G's on Twitter was going to stop. Kiwi Farms was just going to wipe their hands of it. It's amazing how he really believed that if a piece on the chessboard falls, that the game is over. It's amazing how he would think that. And the reason why I bring this up to you is because this goes a long way. I wish I had gloated about it back then. This goes a long way to explain the infrastructure that's going on over there on Phil's little platform, in Phil's fan base or pigroach cult or whatever the case may be. And that's understandable, isn't it? If it's not for Phil, why would any of you guys be here? Why would any detractor be known for anything if it wasn't for Phil? As if detractors don't do other stuff besides Phil content. You know what I'm saying? And one of the things that kind of further enforces that is if you guys were watching Phil's birthday stream, not the marathon, the stream, when it was Brian, Kekken, and Phil, obviously. And Phil had to pick up and leave for a second. If you guys watched Tevin or I don't know if Lightside Bill rebroadcast it, but I know Dark Dave did because I saw Dark Dave's thing of it. If you saw any one of these three individuals, shouts out to all three of them. If you saw any one of their rebroadcasts, you see that Phil picks up and leaves for, like, I don't know, it could have been like maybe 3 to 5 minutes, whatever the case may be. But he shuts it all down. And I don't mean he shuts down the actual stream. He cuts off the volume for himself, but he also cuts off the volume for Kekken and Brian. Now, most people would think, oh, he just doesn't want anything to be said, so on and so forth. That's fine, but why would you go ahead and rob your fan base, rob your audience, let's say that, of hearing Brian and Kekken, being that they are co-oping with you? What kind of arrogant piece of shit must you be to sit there and think, oh, well, if you can't listen to me, you can't listen to nobody, so just sit in silence, bitches, until I get back. Now, most of you would probably be like, well, maybe he didn't do that. Maybe he just doesn't know how to. That's possible. It's actually worse. It's worse that you sit in front of this, you go ahead and sit in front of that screen for 12 hours, allegedly. You know what I'm saying? So let's say 6 to 8 hours a day, and you don't have any idea how to maneuver around on what is your platform, on what you're supposedly so good at, hence the reason why you keep doing it. It seems worse if we go with he doesn't know what he's doing, rather than, oh, he did it because he's just a slime ball piece of shit and he believes that no one will catch any clout, no one will get any light while he's not there to regulate it, so if not, you guys are just gonna have to suffer. Just my own personal opinion, but it's something that I want you guys to kind of think about moving forward. And it kind of shows the penchant of failure that Phil is very much accustomed to and can never truly escape. He'll never truly escape. He really thought that if this group falls, everything else falls with it. I don't even think Fred would even want that. if SOK fell that he'd want the whole detractor community to go with it. What's the point of that? It's kind of hard to make a comeback if you have nothing, if nothing's laid out. Theoretically, if that's the, I don't know if that's the plan or not, but just throwing that out there. You know what I'm saying? It kind of doesn't make any sense. And that, it's no fun if Phil just fails on his own. I mean, granted, Phil's going to fail on his own, but it's going to be fun if there's no one there to have an opinion about it. That's what makes DSP interesting, is the fact that you have multiple people who have an opinion on the dumb shit that he does. Daily. But I might be a bit biased. DSP News.
I got, pretty much news that's devastating if something happens. Let me put it that way.
And just so everyone else, this is not a threat to my YouTube channels. This is not a threat to my Twitch. It's nothing like that at all. I'm not getting sued, nothing like that. But it's something that I can't fully tell you about. And that's what
I gotta be honest with you. If you guys are looking at the screen, most of you guys, I know you just kind of listen to it in the background. Going to the doctor for the blood test, that right there may still come back. So we can't even scratch out A yet. I mean, not A, but exhibit, the first exhibit, number 1. The first option is still in play. So keep that in mind. Option 2, being sued for sexual harassment against the hairdresser, that would have been amusing if that hairdresser thing would have evolved into something. Not necessarily sexual harassment, just anything. It would have been just interesting if that would have just flourished into something. It's a shame that it didn't. But, one can have hope. And then we have number 3. The IRS discovered the fraud of DSP Enterprises, which is kind of what happened, all because of taxes. So when you go back and look, nobody was that far off of the mark, to be honest with you, because that was like the ongoing thing for the longest time. Oh, it's taxes. He ain't fucked up. He ain't sat there and fucked up, and they ain't caught his ass on taxes. We weren't wrong. You know what I'm saying? Everybody came to their conclusion in a slightly different way, but at the end of the day, we were generally all right. So that was always funny. But then again, ladies and gentlemen, it's the beautiful thing about having options. Speaking of which, there is no butter maple syrup. So you guys get strawberry syrup, you get apple cinnamon syrup, or you guys can just have honey. That's it. Okay? I'm sorry. Those are the options. Yeesh.
The most right now
is because there's something negatively affecting me really deeply.
But if it makes you guys feel better, French toast is also on the menu, so you have that.
And I can't tell you about it. I could dance around the subject, but I can't give you details.
What happened today was, as I was streaming, I finished my gameplay stream, and then I got a notice, and I was like, what is this? And basically, it made, I'm not even kidding you, this has happened twice in my life, where in the pit of my stomach, it feels empty. It feels like pain, like emptiness, like I'm sick, like I'm gonna vomit, okay? It happened once when I got the notice, when I looked at YouTube and it said that all my ad revenue had plummeted and I wasn't getting any help from anyone about it, and I thought I was gonna go out of business. That was number 1. And it happened again today, okay?
Now, to get a nagging, disgusting, almost deafening feeling in your belly like that, right? Over money, yet again, talks to the fundamentals and what is the driving force of Phil Burnell. So if this is how you feel about losing money, ad revenue on YouTube, and what eventually came out to be you got caught on that back state tax, tell me how this man is capable of having, and I use the term man loosely, tell me how he's able to form meaningful relationships. Tell me how his alleged soulmate, right, the one he keeps giving the thumb to, I love that meme over there on Tevin's stream, how is this man, how can any of you guys tell me that he really loves her? How can any of you guys tell me that he really wants to marry her when he had a chick for 5 years who was devoted and whatnot, and who was down for the cause, and look how quickly he was able to discard her? I don't know. As far as I'm concerned, he's a user. He's always been that, and he always will be that. Everybody in Phil Burnell's life, going, if you want to look at it from a certain thought process, excuse me, is everybody needs to have a meaning and a usefulness to him around him. If not, then they have to be discarded. Because if they're not going to help you along your way, then they're only in your way. And it's kind of like what some street dudes have. It's that type of kind of mentality. But even then, there's empathy and there's morals to that shit. Phil doesn't have any of those things. So when I look at Phil and I look at how quick he is to discard people, it really fundamentally, at least to me anyway, drives home the general idea that if you cannot be useful to him, then you don't need to be there. You're taking up a spot for someone else who can be taken advantage of, who can be abused and used. Same concept. And you're kind of seeing that in a way with Swaggins, as what happened with Swaggins' predecessor before that, Brightside Viking. You're kind of seeing that trend. And I've said, ladies and gentlemen, that Phil is very much a creature of habit. And he is. He very much is. And this right here is just one point to help prove what will be my overall case later on. DSP News.
To the point where it's like, at this point in my life, I'm just, I don't know how I'm going to keep dealing with this shit moving forward. Like, it seems like every 6 months, some crazy-ass, stupid, fucking, out-of-my-control bullshit happens that screws my life over somehow. 6 months ago, it was February, March, right? It was the whole YouTube ad revenue apocalypse, and me taking months to figure out what I was going to do on how to keep doing this for a living and keep my house and keep everything going the way it was. And I do want to say thank you to all of you who were incredibly supportive.
Keep in mind, though, too, you would have kept doing what you were doing right now. You're the one who called Machinima, you're the one who reached out to Machinima, overstepped your boundaries multiple times, had the same guy or the same individual, whoever it was, smack you down a few times, still giving Phil chances, smacking him down, saying, hey, this is your position, play your part, and we will get to you. But for right now, continue to conduct your, air quotes, business as it needs to be conducted. We're working on it. And Phil was like, no, fuck that. I want something now. Do you not know who the fuck I am? I'm Phil Burnell. I am Philip Burnell, horse lover extraordinaire. Okay? I'm the most successful person on YouTube that you don't know outside of my flapping. PewDiePie? Ninja? Markiplier? Jacksepticeye? Toby Turp? Fuck all them. Who do you think inspired them to do what they do? Phil Burnell. So when I go to Machinima and say, hey, I have a problem, I want you guys to do it now, Philip isn't asking you guys, he's telling you guys. The problem is that Phil didn't realize who he was talking to. Phil didn't understand that he was expendable. Phil didn't understand that it was somebody with a whole lot of patience or just a whole lot of good grace that was willing to tolerate him instead of prioritizing him. There's a difference, ladies and gentlemen, as we all know. Let's continue.
Who've been coming out and everything's been good, right? In that regard, everything's been positive, and then this happens today. And by the way, let me say this is something that I don't know if I can talk about it or not. All right, well, let me put it this way. I know I can talk about it, I just don't know if it's going to make sense to. I can't give you definitive details on what's going on with me. What I can tell you is why it affected me so deeply that I got sick to my stomach. I was frantically doing stuff for about an hour and a half after my stream. I barely could eat dinner at all. And I was already so behind. By the time I ate dinner, it was already going to be after 8 o'clock, so I canceled my second stream today.
But guys, I'm in a situation right now where, I'm being real with you. This could be a situation that's like worst case scenario, meaning I might have to sell my house. That's your...
Now, I apologize, Snorpernell. That meme was going to be funny. I want you guys to also hear how Phil looks at his situation and what the reality of what an adult would have to do given those circumstances compared to what he says now. Okay? We're talking about September of 2017, and then I want you to equate that to what you've heard up till early this month, early April of 2019. Let's go.
And move. And if I move, I don't know where I would move. Obviously, I would want to move somewhere else here in the state of Washington, and maybe get an apartment or something that's cheaper than this house. What?
I thought you said the Philly. I'm sorry, Philip. I thought you said Philly boy. That you said that Philly D. That you said that you couldn't get an apartment. You couldn't have this amazing setup. You know what I'm saying? If you get an apartment, the quality goes down. The quality goes to shit. You can't do it in an apartment. You need a house. You need your little office, air quotes. You need your little studio, air quotes, to make what you do happen. This is where the magic happens, baby. This is where the magic happens. And if Phil doesn't have that, then it can't happen. So going to an apartment is just out of the question. But in 2017, he said that, hey, I don't want to leave. I want to stay here. So if I have to get an apartment, I have to get an apartment. It sounds to me like someone who was willing to make it work at that time. But of course, Phil Burnell is a man of change, if you will. He's someone who's constantly innovating mentally. And so, with that being said, some things need to fall by the wayside. DSP News?
But basically, I'm in a pickle right now to the point where, like, it's not 100% guaranteed yet. Let me put it that way, too. I don't want people to say doom and gloom, oh my god, it's all over. It's not yet. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm in a situation where there's a potential that things could go horribly wrong, and I might have to sell my house and get out of here. Even though things have been going good, it still might happen.
You're the one who created that economic situation.
It sucks because what's going on has nothing whatsoever to do with you. It has nothing whatsoever to do with me. There's been no wrongdoing on your behalf, on my behalf, nothing. It's just something that's happened, and it's like, are you kidding me? Like, on top of all the other shit that I've been through over the years, now this too. It's like every possible fucking negative thing that could possibly happen, it has happened to me.
I don't know what to do, the
only reason I'm making this video is to let you know it's something serious that's going on. I can't disclose, or I don't think I should disclose any more than that about it at this point. Maybe in the future I will. Once I finally get a grasp on the whole situation, this is just a preliminary thing that happened today, and if I get a grasp on the entire situation and I actually have more information to share with you and stuff like that, I will.
This is why, ladies and gentlemen, that Phil was successful at the end of 2017, leading into the 2018 begging season, compared to Phil in the end of the 2018 season, leading into the 2019 begging season. Because Phil wasn't a completely lazy slob and went out of his way to make what would be considered a 24 minute video about a whole lot of nothing. He didn't tell you shit. All he did was throw out some scenarios to you. Instead of it being, it's Tevin's fault, it's Tevin's fault, it's Tevin's fault, it was, SOK is gone, I should be okay now, but I'm not okay, Apocalypse is still hanging over my head, these detractors still won't get off my back, I just got this terrible news about something that I can't really speak on right now, but it's gonna hurt me, it's gonna hurt me deeply, and whatnot. Panda bounced off on me. He gave you guys a video about a whole lot of nothing. It was a whole lot of nothing. But it was packed with enough substance, artificial substance, to make it seem like it was more than what it was. Let me give you guys an example. Phil said recently that he had a sandwich or some silly shit. And I remember I was watching it on Tevin's stream. And he was saying something about, Phil was saying something about, yeah, I had like a sandwich with either, I think it was maybe salami, but it wasn't real salami. It was like turkey salami or some shit. Something crazy. And I'm thinking, this isn't like turkey burgers, dude. Why are you eating turkey salami? Just eat salami. If you can't eat the salami because you're afraid of the gout, then just eat turkey. Just eat regular turkey. Why are you eating turkey salami? What the fuck are you doing? So this is kind of the same shit. He's throwing a bunch of artificial shit at you. He's giving you artificial stuff to make it seem like it's more than what it was. But he made the time to do it. He set the story up right, as far as I'm concerned. I mean, granted, it was open to speculation, which he was okay with. He hit you guys from a bunch of different angles, which is okay, which, was a smart move. But he literally told you guys nothing. He told you guys nothing that you guys didn't already know. And I mean, when I say that he told us nothing that we didn't already know, I'm talking about from the fan base aspect or the detractors, trolls, and haters aspect. He just threw it out there. Phil of 2018 couldn't be bothered. He saw how 2017 ended for him, and he saw how he was holding high cards, and he was like, well, shit, what do I need to put more effort into it for? I'm just going to come out and say, give me money, or I'm going to lose my house, and everything's going to be straight, and everything flopped. And then what did he have to do? Oh, well, and then what did he end up resorting to doing? Well, he no longer had SOK, so who's the next best thing? Tevin. Praise be almighty. So he ends up going after him. That flops immediately. Especially when Phil has people in his own fan base who praise almighty. So so that was a wrap from the jump. And then trying to throw Kat up there as the shield, didn't work either. Because we were learning more and more about her every day. And sadly the baggage that she was carrying. He had no footing. He had nothing to stand on. He couldn't stand on Tevin. He couldn't stand on Kat. He couldn't stand on copyright strikes from like 3 or 4 fucking years ago. He couldn't stand on blaming YouTube. He was grasping at straws because he was too lazy to set something up. It's absolutely amazing. DSP News.
This point, especially with what people have done with my personal information in the past, I don't feel like I should be sharing any more than just this initial letting you know something is wrong.
And honestly, folks, I'm going to do my best. I pledge to you that during this hardcore gaming season, this busy season when everything is going on, I'm going to do my best to every day be positive with you guys and try to have fun with games. But you have to understand that in the back of my head, there's going to be this lingering thing. And the other thing you got to realize, I'm on my own now. That's your fault.
All right. I don't have someone physically here to support me or anything anymore. I'm on my own, like it used to be back in the day before I ever moved out here to Washington. And even though I'm used to it, it's rough, man, because it was good.
Now let's talk a little bit about support. As Burnell has great time, has great timing. All right, let's talk a little bit about that support. So, what did Panda actually provide? I would assume she provided quite a few things. To be perfectly honest, if you ask, you talk to Tyrone, he'll let you know. But I assume she provided quite a few. Quite a bit, I should say. One of the main things that I take away from that is Phil really looks at women in general as merely people to take care of the man and of children. That's it. So really, he didn't look at Panda as anything significant, anything really worthwhile. You're there to take care of me, so take care of me. I'm the one who put us in this house. Now clean it up. I'm the one who bought you those clothes, so now wash all of them. I'm the one who purchased those dishes. Wash all that too. I'm the one who's paying for all the food that's in that refrigerator. Cook it. I know it sounds extremely sexist to say something like that, but I honestly think that's what he was thinking. I still think that's what he thinks. I think with Kat it's a little different for the fact that she's older, and given her background, she's not going to be easily swayed as the youth of someone like Panda. So he had to conform a little bit. But that's really what it comes down to. He really just he only looked at Panda as, you're here to take care of me and that's it. Which was supposed to be her initial, which was supposed to be the initial reason of taking her out of Pennsylvania and away from her family and friends to go out there with you anyway, right? Because weren't you supposed to get your back fixed, allegedly, and then she was supposed to help you recover? Right? But see, that didn't happen. And as the years go on, and especially once Panda ended up getting a job and went out there and actually, got an idea about the world and what's in it, she was looking at marriage, which is kind of funny because Phil's almost desperate to try to get married now. But whatever. She's thinking about wanting to get married, going so far as getting a fake engagement ring to make that happen. Phil had no interest in marrying Panda. I know some people are saying, oh, he just threw the engagement ring at her to shut her up, but he had no intention of marrying her when she wanted to get married. I propose, this is ironic, the theory that he never had any plans of marrying her at all. He was going to string her along for as long as he could. And why not? Where are you going to go? You can't go back home unless you come up with the money to do it. I've already provided you with a very comfortable life here, so why would you want to leave it? And even at the point that she got a job, what would make you want to go ahead and go home as the gardeners are outside getting shit done? So what would be the point? He essentially thought he had her trapped there. And in some way she is. As far as we know, she still lives in Connecticut, or no, sorry. She still lives in Washington State. She hasn't moved back home, at least as far as we know. I'm sure she could. I'm sure her parents, if they wanted her back, not if they wanted her back, but if she told her parents, hey, I want to come home, they would fly her back home. But it's obvious that she made a life out there for herself, so why would she leave because Phil Burnell? There is life after Phil. You know what I'm saying? So, Ready to Gout and then Life After Phil is very much a... it's definitely an amazing double album. And she's living it. So, it also shows, ladies and gentlemen, the mad dash on why Phil needed a replacement as quickly as he did. Just saying. Now, before we go ahead and continue with the broadcast, James the Lesser did a video recently pulling up an old tweet that some chick was basically tweeting with Phil about something, and he has a theory. It's a theory that maybe there's another woman out there in the works. If I can find that video, I'll link it down in the description, and you guys can check it out and see what you think. It's all speculation. James says that in the video, so take it for what you will. What I will also say is This is yet again Phil intertwining himself into a pattern that he's shown before. Because if you look at that tweet, it's not too far off of what he tried to do with Kat initially. Just saying. He talked to them once openly, and then everything else is probably behind the scenes. It's just, like I said, it's just a suspicion. But that video might mean something in a year or two. Well, it means something now. But it might certainly mean something in a year or two, just in case, you know, Kat vanishes for whatever reason, and a new woman slides right in. You guys have a general idea of who that new woman might be. Let's continue. DSP News.
That support system for me, and now because of the way my life has panned out, because of a lot of circumstances and a lot of fucking people doing nasty shit to me, look where I am now. You know, it's tough. It is. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie at all. It's very challenging right now to keep doing what I'm doing and stay positive. You know, and I'll say this. I've said it before. I think people get over it. I had a history of depression in my past, and I got over it. Not to say that it ever goes away, because depression, for those, this is the thing people don't understand about depression, okay? It never goes away. You'll always have, if you really get deep depression, it will never go away. It will always be there. That little voice in your head saying that you're not good enough, saying that you're a bad person, saying that, you know, you're an awful person and you don't deserve good things and you don't deserve anything. And, you know, to the extreme extent with some people, go kill yourself, which is the absolute worst it could get, right? You know.
This was a good play on his part, too. One, the whole go kill yourself thing. Phil's told people to do that, so that's ironic. But anyway, that was a good play on his part, because that right there laid the seeds down for what ended up coming up later. He didn't use that, as you guys may or may not remember, he didn't use that until what? Right around the time Memology was working on the whole better health situation, and where, you know, mental health was kind of a real big thing, especially around about YouTube personalities. And then Phil came out and said, I've had depression, and did his whole little stream bullshit on that. So, excuse me, this right here was pretty good setup, right? It was just putting the idea out there that, hey guys, excuse me, hey guys, I had depression at one time or another, so on and so forth, and it never goes away. Then when he tries to pick up on that in 2018, it was the execution of it was sloppy, obviously. And since he had no real forethought or preparation behind it, it fell apart. It sounded like someone just taking advantage of a situation, which is what he did. But it also made it sound, and because he was trying to take advantage of it, it seemed very disingenuous. And that's why he had to keep fighting that for a couple months. About, I did have depression, yada, 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 yada. Oh, it's not a crutch, yada, yada, yada. That's exactly what you used it for. The setup right here was pretty good if you kept it up. If he had done that before, if he had kept this narrative up before Better Health broke, he could still ride that little train up till now. But he can't. Because he used it, profited off of it, and then abandoned it. And then when he saw an opportunity to try to cash back in, kind of like This Is How You Don't Plays back in those days, it was already too late. There was already a market cornered for it, and it looked like you were just some greedy little pig trying to get in and get a piece. Nah, you better go ahead and wee yourself all the way back home. That's what you should do.
Very, very hard for me. I'm fighting right now because of all the shit in the news and stuff that I got. It's like, I'm fighting to stay positive for you guys. I am, and I want to, all right? What I would ask for you guys, all right? I'm not asking you, honestly, for anything financial.
This shocks me.
I'm not asking for it. Not to say that shit wouldn't help, but I'm not. I can't anymore. Because you guys are giving so much. You guys are coming to streams, and I see it tipping, subbing, and pledging, and I see it coming to YouTube and watching.
He was an idiot right there, too, by the way. When that right there came up, and he's like, hey, I'm not asking you guys for anything financial, but hey, if you want to go ahead and give it to me, you should, because that should be helpful. He should have been like, hey, guys, I'm not asking for you guys I'm not asking for anything financial. I'm not asking for any support from you guys. I want to vent. Okay, I have a lot going on right now, and I can't talk about it at the moment. And this is just, YouTube is my platform, air quotes. So, which it was though, and this is the only way I can kind of get it out. He should have left it as that, but he let the greed is massively strong. I have no fucking self-control. He let it take him over. So he almost killed his own narrative, if you think about it. He almost screwed up the pig psychosis there for just a brief second.
And you see you guys doing everything you do, you know, to the point where I can't ask you anymore. You know what I mean? You want to know how all this could be fixed? If I win the fucking lotto overnight, then all my, you know, all right, not every problem, because there's still things that can't be fixed, you know. Can't guarantee health and stuff if you win the lotto, but it's just to the point where, like, I don't even know what else I'm supposed to do. A reasonable human.
Wait, you can't guarantee guarantee health by winning the lotto, despite the fact that you just said recently, Phil, that it's only the people who are rich that can get the best health care. Hashtag just saying. So that kind of screws that. Also, if we go back, shit, here, I'll go ahead and further my argument. Didn't you not say, Phil, recently, very recently, that I'm in such financial straits right now that there's no point in doing a budget? I can't budget because I don't have any money. The only thing that can fix my current situation is more money. That's the only way I can see myself getting out of it. More money. I can't do anything else. Having a budget, thinking about what I'm going to do for next year's taxes, how am I going to do that when I can't even budget for my bills now? I need more money. I need a cash infusion, a large cash infusion, to make everything work. Despite the fact that you're on vacation right now. And the money that you earned, where's that money all going? And how much did you make, by the way? I haven't done that broadcast yet, but I will. You made altogether $2,400, maybe $2,500, give or take, after, everything is kind of tallied up. And you did what? You streamed for allegedly 12 hours. So you made you made $100 an hour, give or take, a little more actually, a little more than $100 an hour, which is still more than most. Just saying, ladies and gentlemen. It's like, I know not everybody remembers, and they don't have to, but the detractors remember. DSP News.
A reasonable human to be put up with as much adversity as I've now faced since I've done this YouTube thing. I don't know, man.
I don't want to lose everything, guys. I worked my ass off.
And you may say, Phil just sits around and plays games. You're right. That's at the essence of you describe what I do. I sit around and I play video games, but it's work. To come here every day, even some days when I feel like shit, and days when maybe I'm playing a game I don't particularly like. In particular, maybe a day when I know for a fact it's going to be at 95 degrees in my office, even with the air conditioner blasting.
All Phil does is play video games. You're right. If you look at the essence of it, I do, but it's work. Because sometimes I have to come in when I'm sick, or sometimes I have to play a game I don't particularly want. First things first, you make your own. Oh my god. Oh my god. First off, Phil, you make your own schedule, so you can stream whatever the fuck you want. Oh shit. Secondly, okay, let's dial the OCD down just for a minute. Secondly, you get to choose the games you want to play. You're good for that. The next video coming up in the broadcast will kind of prove that. You're good for playing whatever games that you want to play. So that's not stopping you either. As it pertains to The Office, no one told you not to get the air conditioner fixed, bruh. No one told you that. No one told you not to sit there and get that shit checked up regularly. That's nobody's problem. You know what I'm saying? If the pigsty is too hot, then you got to do shit to make shit happen. You got to make shit work. You're the one who wants your office. I'm sorry that the pig pen is just reeking with dust, dirt, debris. It's insanely hot. That's not my problem. That's your problem. That's the cost of being the boss, apparently. You wanted to have your little office / studio, and the thing's too hot because you didn't make the decisions. You didn't make the right decisions when you bought that house. You weren't willing to invest money back into the house. You wanted to worry about aesthetics. You didn't think about functionality. Hence the reason why you're in the situation you're in. It's nobody's fault but your own. So explain to me some more about how this is work and how it's so taxing. How it's so taxing on you. Please tell.
During the summer months, which is why I toughed through this whole summer. It's work to be here every day for you on stream, and
it was a lot of work to adjust my method from a YouTube only style to a streaming only style, and
all I'm getting is positive feedback about how good things have been, and people are saying I'm rejuvenated now, and it's looking better for me than ever before. Like, my videos and my playthroughs are more entertaining than they've been in the past 3 years because I feel rejuvenated again, and I do. And even with all the shit, I mean, seriously, even with all getting past the YouTube ad revenue stuff and my breakup with my ex-girlfriend and all that shit, I really felt that I was on a positive trend to keep going. And it was
all right, first things first. The breakup with Panda was his fault. Nobody here is going to deny that. The breakup with Machinima was his fault. No one's here going to deny that. I'm still skeptical that YouTube or Machinima told him to delete all those pre-streams. So that's definitely under scrutiny. It sounds to me lazy, and no one told you, Phil, to go out here and mistake being the realest guy on YouTube, which doesn't mean shit, by the way, to being a complete and total fucking asshole. No one, there's a difference between the two, and you never figure that out. That's nobody's fault either but your own. Those are the four major things, ladies and gentlemen, outside of a couple pluses, that brought down Phil Burnell. And as far as I'm concerned, he did it all on his own. All by his lonesome. One pig with a mission. And as far as I'm concerned, mission accomplished. If this is how he was planning on drumming up sympathy and living off of the piglets for the rest of his life. But he did all these things on his own. And how long can a man go through life and say, it's not my fault, I didn't do anything wrong, it's everybody else's problem but my own? How long can a man really be able to do that? What kind of mental gymnastics does a man have to go through day in, day out to believe something like that? It's frightening in some ways. And maybe it's actually rather extraordinary in others, depending on how you look at it. DSP News.
I mean, was I in the clear right now for keeping my house and everything here? No, of course not. But it was looking positive, at least for the next few months into next year. It was looking like this hardcore gaming season is going to be great no matter what.
I'm going to make a ton of money, hopefully, if I stick to my guns, and I'm going to be able to keep the house and everything. And now I don't know. I need that money. I really do. I need that money. And that's the worst part. Uncertainty is the worst feeling on the planet. Knowing that I have worked my ass off, I've done everything right in my power, and that is, I wanted to clear everything. It's a situation where I've done everything right. I have not done a damn thing wrong whatsoever, yet it looks like I may end up in a ton of financial troubles to the point where I have to sell my house. I'm sure there'll be rampant speculation about what it is, and I'll tell you right now, I'm not going to allude to the truth. You can guess, but I'm not going to tell you what's really going on.
And I'm in a situation where I don't even know what to do anymore. Like, even if I work my ass off and I do well, I can still, it seems like somehow life is finding a way around my hard work to fuck me. I'm not even kidding, I need to win like the lotto. I don't know what else to do. I can't work any harder. If I work any harder than I'm working right now, I will be physically affected, physically ill. To the point now where I'm still not on a consistently good sleep schedule since everything that happened earlier.
Now, can't work any harder than he already is, if not he'd be physically ill. Did 2 24-hour streams within what, a 2-week span? Maybe shorter, but at least within 2 weeks of each other. And a retrospective stream before that. Just keep that in mind.
This year, with my breakup and everything, I'm still not on a consistently good sleep schedule. I'm sure you guys have seen bags under my eyes. Some people said, Phil, looks like you gained weight.
I did. I gained like 5 to 10 pounds.
Because I used to be in a routine where I would be able to work my ass off, and then, meals would be nicely prepared, healthy meals for me in between and stuff, and it's not like that anymore. Now it's like...
Oh, Panda, I'm about to ride for you, girl, right now. Okay, so, inconsistent sleeping schedule, that's his own fault. You're the one who wanted to have your gin and sit around for 3 hours downstairs and shit instead of going to bed with Panda, hence the reason why Better Man's in there with her now. Anyway, let's not dwell on that. We all know this. So that's the first thing. Second thing is, I would bust my ass off up here in the office for the business, and then I expect the woman to come home and have nice, tasty, healthy meals waiting for me. That goes back to the point that I talked about earlier. But let's think about what Phil's been saying lately about how his eating habits were, and how for the last 5 years, he was taking in all this junk and this, that, and the third. It wasn't very healthy. And now Kat is the one. It's Kat, ladies and gentlemen, who's making all the healthy, delicious meals and whatnot. It's helping him keep his weight down and so on and so forth. Kat is the one who put him on the straight and narrow. Kat was the one who was taking care of him, or who is taking care of him. Kat is the one that's looking out for his best interest. Despite the fact, you just heard the pig squeal just a minute ago saying that he had healthy, delicious meals that were being made for him on the daily before Panda left. I don't know. It's probably just semantics, I guess. I guess you guys could say I have some type of stake in this. I disavow everything. DSP News.
Stream, and immediately after stream, I have to whip something up quickly within an hour to 2 hours. People don't realize that usually I only have about an hour because it takes me about a half hour, if not longer, to get videos queuing here to upload before I even get to work on dinner or whatever. The only things you can make quick are unhealthy for you. Oh, TV dinner. Yeah, pop that in. It's terrible for you. Awful, you know?
So I'm trying to balance my lifestyle here, but, you know, it's tough. You really have to.
Stop.
I can't.
Ladies and gentlemen, how hard is it to season and marinate some meat for the next day? How hard is it to open up a couple of cans, right, of vegetables, because Phil needs his vegetables, the only way to fight off the gout. And if you're not going to put it in the pot and cook it on the stove, Phil, fair enough. Put them into plastic containers the night before, put them back in your refrigerator, and then you can microwave them. How hard is it to sit there and marinate some meat, right, and then either cook it on the stove or bake it in the oven? About 20, 25 minutes, depending on, obviously, the sizes of it and whatever the situation is. How hard is it to do any of these things? You're telling me you can't do that within the span of an hour and a half. You could get all that done within the hour. You would have to prep ahead. You'd have to think ahead. But you're telling me that none of this is possible. This man right here, who is now 37, has the nerve to sit there and call people idiots, saying that they're not adults, saying they don't understand how the world works, they don't understand shit. But this man can't cook food for himself. He can't prepare meals for himself, which is what ended up getting him in trouble with that War Dog situation. He's the man who admitted that when Panda left, he had to figure out how to use the washer. Couldn't figure out how to wash his own clothes. Had no clue. He's the one who said that. He's the one who sat there and ranted and raved on the same stream that he ended up going at War Dog Leader about, oh, poor me, that I don't have delicious meals. I don't have delicious meals made for me. And so you guys should pity me for that. That I don't have someone here to make me delicious meals anymore. Because I ran her off because I was a piece of shit. I want you guys to think about that. I want you guys to think about what I said earlier. About if you're not directly useful to him, you're merely in his way. Food for thought. DSP.
I cannot work any harder, work longer as one person. I can't do it. I'm now to my physical limits where I know I can't. I'm to the point where you saw how bad it was all summer with my throat and everything, and now finally I'm starting to get better because the weather turned. I can't go any harder. I don't know what else to do. Get a job. It's not that simple.
Even right now, at this point, things that are coming together.
That's funny because you tell Phil to get a job now. I have a job and it's better than yours. I have a job. Okay. And it pays more than any other job that I'd be able to get. I have a job. This is real work. Back in 2017, it's not that easy, guys. It's not that easy. There's a lot of things that go into this, man. He was a bit more rational back then, but then he took all that shit after all that money he took, and I think he just became fed up.
Not that simple. Even if I went and got another job, it's not going to help anything. All right, it's to the point where it's stuff that I can't control and I can't help. And I know people will. I
love that one. If I get a second job, it's not going to do anything. You having another source of income coming in on top of what little dwindling money you're getting off YouTube, that's his own fault, by the way. And then the money and all the support that you're getting on Twitch, his words, not mine. You fitting in a second part-time job into all of this is not going to help. It's useless. But then again, you're saying that you're in financial straits because YouTube is letting you down. So, I mean, if you're going to still make the type of money you're making on YouTube anyway, because it's not like he was editing or doing anything of the sort extra, who's to say that you can't just cut the night streams out, which he should have done that back then because it's still useless even now. Do your morning stream and then get a night job position at night. Get a job at night. And he could still stream and so on and so forth. And you're telling me that another paycheck coming in, another source of income coming in is not going to work. Because, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and unwrap this. Let's go ahead and no more bacon. Oh, God, I never thought I'd hear myself say that. All right, never mind. This is the last round of bacon. Well, it's not going to be the last round. It'll be a couple more rounds. But, all right, here we go. Candy bacon, whatever. So, we have YouTube. We have Twitch. We have Patreon. We have Teespring. And what else were you doing at that time? Oh, and then you have begging. Because begging and Twitch, theoretically, even though it's all on the same platform, it's actually two separate things. So you have all 5 of these avenues, and you're not getting shit done. You're telling me that with all 5 of these things that you have going on, You can't make your bills. But getting another job, something outside of the house, another type of experience that you can go through and bring back to these platforms to make yourself seem more interesting, to make yourself seem more relatable, is useless. So not only are we talking about the paycheck that would come from that other job is useless, it's not going to help anything. His words, not mine. But the experience that would come from something like that, from getting out of your goddamn house that you're trapped in, that you've made your personal prison, and going out there and interacting with some people, getting to find out who Phil Burnell is. We all know who you are, but, put out a fake front. You know what I mean? Just work with me on this. Getting to find out who Phil Burnell is, and maybe getting to see the world from a whole new point of view is useless to you. Why be out there with the peasants when I'm living good right now? I'm just going to tell you guys that I'm not living good so you guys can give me more money. This is really what Phil Burnell thinks. And people think there's not something wrong with this dude. Alrighty. DSP News.
Hypothesize about probably 3 in particular things that this could definitely be. I cannot tell you exactly what it is, and you won't find any information about it either, because I never publicly talked about any of this stuff before, by the way, so you won't find anything about it. It's stuff that I've basically kept on the down low. And I really wish I could tell you everything, but I can't. I know it would be the bad choice to do that, okay? I really am not asking anything extra from any of you at this point. I can't. I just wanted to let you know what's going on with me and let you know I'm going to try my damnedest to stay positive, to put out positive content for you on a daily basis. It's all I can do. I have to. At this point, I can't stop and just give up. I have to keep going. But it's looking like if things are going the way that they're going, I don't see how I can stay in this house. I'm going to need to sell the house to take care of things, and that's not good.
I mean, I worked my ass off to get here. I put myself in a ton of debt to get here. And it's because of all the fucking people who've done nasty shit to me that I'm in the situation that I'm in right now. And that's matter of fact, folks. The reason that I'm in a bad situation now, financially in particular, is because of people doing nasty shit to me. If
I never got false copyright strikes against DsPgaming and all that shit, the channel still would probably have been just maybe declined a little bit, but no way would it have dipped away. Look, I'm going to be really, go ahead, because everyone loves to use it, Social Blade. Go look at Social Blade and go take a look at the month when I got the false copyright strikes. The channel was in jeopardy of being shut down, and I was advised by YouTube staff to delete the videos that had fan art in them. You will see that my channel went like this because I had to delete those videos. It came back up the next month with positive views, but then it just went like this because I was, from then on, I was out of YouTube search and YouTube algorithms and everything.
And you're talking someone who worked their ass off to get where I was, who got fucked by a bunch of kids.
And I've never been able to recover since then. Things have just gotten worse. It's a big landslide of negative stuff that's happened since then because of that, because of those false copyright strikes that I can never recover from. I don't know what else to say or do. That's the truth of the matter. Those false copyright strikes put me single-handedly in the financial situation that I'm in now, because if they never happened, I would have been making enough money to easily pay off all of my financial obligations and not have a problem with anything going on with my finances right now.
I wouldn't have to be on stream and on videos begging you guys for help.
Now, keep in mind, this is the same guy who told us and admitted that multiple times Machinima overpaid him. Multiple times and for multiple years, Machinima was overpaying him. I just want to put that out there too.
Bad times when things are tight. I never would have been in that bad of a financial situation if it weren't for those direct actions from a bunch of fucking assholes, from a group that planned it out step by fucking step to do it again to me. And now I don't know if I will ever, at this point, especially with what I'm getting notice of today.
Now that right there is interesting too, because what is Phil's MO now? What is the little catchphrase that Phil likes to have now? Oh, I outlasted this group. I outlasted these people who thought that they were doing YouTube right. I'm still here. But yet we still cry and complain about shit that happened 3 or 4 years previous. Just like how Tevin brought that up recently. How he keeps complaining about that helicopter job that he got fired from. Still gloats on that bullshit. If you don't care, why are you still talking about it? Let it go. For Christ's sake, let it go. Your dad isn't dwindling on it, and he has what, 2 or 3 herniated discs in his back compared to the one that you have, and he still gets up for work every day, gets up every day for work, and does real work, meaningful work, I would guess. Not his piece of shit lazy son though. Nah, not at all. He'd rather just sit around and just get gout and complain to a bunch of kids about some shit that they don't even understand. Outside of well, Phil needs money, so I better go ahead and get my mom's credit card because I want to help Phil. He really set the world on fire, didn't he? DSP News.
I don't know if I'll ever get back to financially or healthy either. Because look at me, people notice I'm, like I said, gained weight. I'm not sleeping, and how can I get healthy when every time there's positive shit happening, something negative comes to fuck it all up again, right? How can I possibly? I'll be honest with everyone. There's other positive things in my life right now too that are really nice, that are good things to have going on. I don't share anyone. I don't share.
And that was a good call on Snort Burnell's part. Yeah, he was dating someone, which makes this whole tax thing. As I'm getting all the videos together and everything, you'll eventually get where I'm going with this, but which makes this whole tax thing rather inconsistent, to say the very least. Because once the speculation that he was dating someone came into play, and then the staycations weren't really matching up, and then all of a sudden, you find out that, at Christmas, that he is dating someone, and he's been keeping all these secrets, in air quotes, from us, and so on and so forth. It leads one to believe, because I was certainly suspicious, that then this tax thing, if it's not completely legit, or if it's not legit at all, then we have an overarching problem that's about to come up over the horizon. While he's sitting here worrying about the escort saga, people were really just trying to concentrate on who this chick was. Because the escort saga forced Phil to divulge who Kat was. Hence the reason why he had to end up putting her on Instagram the moment she got there. The reason why the weeks leading up to her actually moving in, he kept hyping it up. Because that escort thing was still stinging him in the ass. And he had to prove. He had to be Mr. Macho, Mr. Machismo. And he had to prove that he can get himself a woman and that she was real. He needed that. So as much as he likes to say that, the escort saga was by all these fucking idiots and all these crazy people and so on and so forth, look at the long-term effects that it had on him. Now, that's all I'm going to say because I don't want to give away my tax video. But you guys get a little snippet of it, got a little piece.
I don't share this information with anyone because I know that it would, again, sharing that kind of personal I learned my lesson, let's put it that way, from other things that I've shared over the years, personal stuff. There's no way that I could share that stuff with you guys anymore because of what happened.
So there is a lot of positivity going on behind the scenes. The problem is
all the work that I put into this entity. It's not a business. It's because it's not. I don't own a business. I don't legally own a business anywhere.
Now keep in mind, this right here, ladies and gentlemen, this I don't own a business, which is a absolutely famous video on Mr. Huffstuff's channel. I'll link, if I remember to, I'll link the video in the description. But this all came about because he was being investigated over that business. Sorry. So they're like laughing while I'm trying to talk. He was being investigated over that business tax situation, or that back business tax. And he was trying to convince these people that he's not a business. And all of the qualifications that they put out there, he doesn't qualify for any of them. So that's when this sharp narrative was taken from, oh, you guys need to help me so I can keep this business going and I can keep bringing you this quality content to, this isn't a business. This is my career. This is my legacy. That's when you started hearing words like that come out and started being used in full force. Until he had no choice but to admit that it was back business tax. And then everything went back to being a business again. Oh, that was... He's something. He really is.
Being self-employed, this self-employment legacy of me having a YouTube channel that people go to watch this certain style of gameplay every day, and now to have a Twitch channel that people come to every day for a positive experience and see me have fun or rage or whatever it might be at the latest game, and to have this cool interaction with me every single day on stream. I love it, and it's that stuff's positive, and there's other stuff that's positive behind the scenes, but the fact that I might lose my fucking house over something that I have nothing whatsoever control over or to do with, that's the worst feeling. Because, you know, there's things in my career, I guess that's what you could call it. It wasn't a business, it was a career. In my career, you could say, well, Phil, you fucked up here, and you fucked up here, and you fucked up here, and that's what, you know, you said this, and that pissed off people, and this person you banned, and that person became a sociopath who stalked you, and that's why they did those nasty things to you.
You know, when you get in a situation when you did definitively nothing wrong.
Actually, you know what's really sad, to be honest with you? He went from saying that this is a YouTube channel that he's hoping he can parlay into something. That's if you go back to his earlier videos. The saying that this shit's a business. And then abandoning that to try to save his own skin, almost in the same way he tried to do with Brightside Viking, to sit there and try to hold on to this, trying to reestablish this as a career. That's what it is, a career. It's a legacy. Only to discard that because it was laughable. Well, he didn't discard the legacy part, but he kept that, but the career part was just absolutely laughable. So he got rid of that, kept the legacy aspect, and then went back to the business because why not? He's paying business taxes now. But you see how quick he is to discard things and try to reestablish other narratives when it fits his interest, but everything is done at the last minute or everything is done on a whim, that it just seems very disoriented, or it's definitely disorganized, and it's very discombobulated in a lot of ways. It's scatterbrained, to say the very least. And he's just grasping at whatever he can. And this is somebody that people are jealous of? To live their life like this? If you take the trolls and haters and detractors out of it, what do you have? You have someone that's just lying day in, day out to fit his own narratives. He'll get called out by somebody else. He literally proves people like him and Amberlynn Reed, Amberlynn Reed. I'm pronouncing that right. Yeah, Amberlynn Reed. These are the example of two individuals that will always have namesayers, no matter what. It is what it is. When you play games like this with people who really, I don't want to say look up to them, but people who really believe in you, or who want to believe in you, or who want to see you do well, and you burn them, you're going to have repercussions. It's the way of the world, if you will. And neither one of these individuals have figured that out yet. And so they'll backtrack as needed, but they're just, even with a backtrack, you're just hurting yourself. Why are you going to say you're sorry about anything if you're just going to do it again later? What's the point? Just something to think about. DSP News.
And I could still be fucked and lose this house. That's when it's like,
I don't know, guys. You know? Now, I don't think it's going to be anything that happens quickly. Hopefully. But, hopefully, you know, this is something that if I do end up in a situation where I have to leave, I have time to transition out, I have enough time to sell the house and make, you know, do what I need to do and get out of here. You know, absolute worst case scenario, if I move back to Connecticut, I mean, I don't know, man. Imagine if I had to move back to Connecticut to the condo. And I would go right back to the bad situation I was in, where constant bad health because I have to shovel snow and deal with bad weather and everything, which I can't do with my back. I wouldn't have my office anymore. I'd lose all the audio quality and the quality of everything that I've had since I moved here. All the improvements, right, that I was able to do. The fact that I have a dedicated office and I could do this 24/7 and I could, you know, yell and scream and everything and do it.
Stop. So that I should use that as a thumbnail. Nice T-pose. Yet again, him making all these excuses about, I'm willing to, as you heard earlier in this broadcast, I'm okay with getting a condo, or sorry, getting an apartment in Seattle, but I don't want to have to go back to Connecticut. I don't want to have to go back to my past, which is what I've been saying since I started doing videos, to be honest with you, is that's what scares him the most. That's what scares him the most about going back to Connecticut, is he has to go back and face his past. He has to go back and know that he failed, and he has to start all over. And that's what probably would break him, if nothing else. Some people want to give Phil the credit, with all due respect to them, that Phil's stubborn. He's not stubborn. He's not stubborn. It's for a better individual, I can understand that, but he's not stubborn. He's not. It's not that he's stubborn at all. He's stupid. He really is stupid. Because he'll destroy himself to try to save himself. That's not being stubborn. That's not being stubborn at all. That's a level of ignorance that is very rarely seen. Like, some people are lucky enough to be able to straighten up before they hit rock bottom. Some people need to hit rock bottom. Phil's below that. He's embedded himself into bedrock and still believes that he's the man. There's something much deeper than just being stubborn. There's something mentally wrong at that point. But that's just, I mean, I'm not a professional, so that is what that is. And when I can't diagnose it, I can only guess. So there's the first issue with that. As it pertains to the whole bad back and this thing, this, that, and the third, I thought Seattle took care of all that. It's not like you moved from Connecticut to Seattle, you mutated and whatnot, strengthen your back with all those extra baby back ribs that formed back there, and now you're going to devolve, you're going to demutate, if that's even a word, once you get back to Connecticut, and you're just going to revert back to the slug that you were? I don't know, Scooby. Something don't sound right about that. So, take that for what that is. His whole story just don't sound right. And that he's been gone at this point, he's been gone out of Connecticut for what, 4 years? 3 or 4 years? Maybe at this point? I'd say it's like, let's say 4 years. Let's say 3 years. You're telling me that Connecticut just sat in a time capsule while you were gone? That Connecticut itself couldn't live without Phil Burnell, so it just stayed frozen in time? Literally? Literally? Really? No, not really.
In Connecticut, to some extent, sure. But, that place that I have, that condo in Connecticut, is shitty. The internet's shitty. It's bad for my health. Taxes, oh my god. State tax in Connecticut is out the wazoo. I'd have to pay state tax in Connecticut again, which would be very fucking bad. And just the fact that selling a house is not easy.
Now, let's think about this for a minute. So, Connecticut they have like a personal tax, and then they have a federal tax. He's paying a federal tax, and he's paying a business occupation tax. What exactly is the difference between the two in the fact, I mean, from a value standpoint? Like, how much less is he paying in Seattle under the conditions of taxes that he's paying now compared to what he's paying in Connecticut? Now, don't get me wrong. I understand that the taxes in Connecticut are high. And he could stand on his own too, right? He would be able to stand on his own too if there was no business tax that were in play. And at this time, there wasn't any, or at least not that we knew of. He was behind the scenes trying to fight that off. But now that business taxes are in play, who is he to keep complaining about the taxes in Connecticut when he's probably paying the exact same thing he's paying in Seattle? Just saying. Just throwing that out there. I'll keep digging. DSP News.
I have to have this house on the market for a few months, and then I gotta find a way to sell all the shit in it, because all the shit in this house cannot be moved across the country and fit in my place in Connecticut. That's not gonna happen. Ideally, I'd like to get an apartment out here, but again, can I even afford that? I don't know. This really sucks. This is a situation where, I need to... too bad I don't have one of those oil barons, Abu Dhabi oil baron guy who watches my content. He's one of those...
silent majority people, and he's like, what the fuck, again, Phil's fucked here. I'm just gonna finance this guy to let him do his work and be happy with his fucking life. Too bad. Or, again,
why would he do that when you would probably just end up like Spoonie? Speaking of which, I've kind of caught a bug on that, in the fact that I've caught a bit of a bug and wanted to look back into Spoonie 1 and some of that shit. So I think I have what I want to what I have now. I think I have what I want to do my video. So look out for that. It's still a work in progress, but I think I'm going to work on that. But that's no different than what happened to Spoonie when he put it on his Patreon that he would but he would end up doing a Spoonie 1 movie. Sorry, god damn it. He was going to do a Spoonie 1 movie. He ended up getting like $5,000 a month for it. And he lost his goddamn mind because just the weight of it came down on him. So what makes you think, Phil, that you would go ahead and get some oil sheik or whoever to give you large amounts of money each month so you can, in your words, do your work, and you weren't just going to become more and more lazy? That's not going to motivate you to do more. It's just going to motivate you to do less. I really want to hear you try to debate that. Just give me a competent argument on that. You can't. I know you can't, but I like to hear you try. I'm not saying that people get off on your failure. It's just amusing. DSP News.
I didn't hit the lotto or something, you know.
I don't know. And I don't have any wealthy relatives or anything like that that I can fall back on. So other things. Some people say, why'd you borrow money from your relative? I don't. You know, I've always been a self-made dude. You know, very rarely can I ever appeal to anyone for that kind of help in any way, shape, or form. There have been a few times when my parents have been able to help here or there, but they're not rich, you know? They're not.
A few times. Then he admits to us later on that his parents were literally giving him money every time he asked for it. And that was like every month, every other month. His parents were literally sending him money every month to try to help him out. But here in 2017, he was like, oh, well, they would help me every once in a while. Gotcha.
Folks, I don't really know what else to say in this video. I'm sorry that I can't share more information. Like I said, I just know it would be spun even worse against me in a way. But thank you for your overwhelming support that I've received over the years. You know, I don't even know what else to say or do. I just want to let you know that's what's going on. I will do my damnedest, all right, to put out good content for you moving forward. And we'll see what happens. If and when I can share more details on this negative thing that's going on with me, I will try. I cannot right now. When I get more information, maybe I'll be able to. But right now, and again, there may be a situation where maybe I won't be able to work as much and stuff moving forward. We'll see. I can't definitively tell you everything. It's because the thing for me that's killing me. I've always been transparent. I've always been the guy that's been able to come out and kind of tell you almost everything. And when I have situations where I can't, that's what gets me. You know, and I can't right now, okay? So, again, nothing to do with YouTube, nothing to do with Twitch, don't worry, all the things, nothing's in jeopardy, everything's good. It's just a point where, I know I'm gonna have negative shit hanging on me, like a depression, like I've had in the past. I've had, like I said, not ever when I was on YouTube, but, it was about mid-2000s, I was in a pretty bad way, and I've really done a lot to fight that off, you know, and I know, logically, it doesn't help anything, but I'm gonna really have a tough time moving forward with what's going on right now. All right, so
any support you guys can lend, especially moral support right now, is fucking needed. If people could just be nice to me for a change. Not to say that most people are, you know, people who watch my videos and streams, my God, you guys have been awesome, but if people could just fucking give me a break, I need it. I can't, you know, I'm to the point where it's like, I can't, you know, you get to a breaking point, and thank God I'm not there yet, but, you know.
Now, someone asked me once, recently, actually. They were like, hey, man, I really appreciate the wing report and whatnot. How long until DSP gets there? DSP was almost there at one time. His ego is the only thing he can hold on to. Don't get me wrong, Wings went through the same type of transition. He tried to hold back. He tried to basically stand on his stature and what little influence he had until all of that ended up breaking on him. And the last bit of goodwill that came out of that was probably the $25,000 he asked for the money for the surgeries. Surgery, but it's supposed to be surgeries because that skin removal thing that's supposed to come on later on. DSP's been there. He's been there. No, actually, he hasn't been there. Phil has tried to fake like he's been there, but Phil will probably never let himself get as bad as Wings. He thinks too highly of himself. He really does. Phil will end up offing himself before that happens. To be perfectly honest, to see Phil weak, self-imposed is one thing. To see him literally in a mental in a situation where he mentally can't control himself, or physically, he'll off himself before that happens. He just has too much ego. He's the equivalent of, I don't know. Think of him as you would think of any other serial killer, or any other spree killer who has a fucking ego. All them dudes usually off themselves in prison for whatever reason. A lot of it is because they think too highly of themselves. You know what I'm saying? Like they're above all of us. Phil is entitled, and he's entitled in a special type of way, to where when he does things like this, there's no shame. You know what I'm saying? There's no him sitting back and thinking, God damn, what am I really doing? He doesn't give a shit about a legacy. It's a hollow word to him. Because if it really meant anything to him, I should say, would he really act like this? No. He acts like a nut because he is a nut. But he's a nut who believes that he's better than everybody else. He's better because he was able to make a living off of all this on YouTube. He's making a living off of all this on Twitch. That all these people allegedly try to take him down by any means necessary, and he's still here. These are the things that he hangs his hat on. He's been able to manipulate women, weak women nonetheless, but women nonetheless, through YouTube and whatnot, and turn them into living maids. He's a man like that doesn't necessarily break like a Wings of Redemption. He's going to need a whole lot more time, but when he breaks, he'll break on his own and whatnot. Hence the reason why, just sit back and watch. You don't have to actively try to push Phil in position. He'll do it himself. It's in his nature. He's not like us in the fact that he's not. It's not about being normal, because none of us are really normal. And I don't mean because you make detractor content or whatever. Each one of us has quirks or flaws or whatever. You know what I'm saying? That's what makes us who we are. But Phil is wired or de-wired in a very strange, very destructive type of way. It's just what he is. And whether that's nature or nurture, at this point, it doesn't really matter. But it is what he is. And sadly, there may not actually be a definitive word for what he is.
All right. I prefer a penne. Oh! Easy to eat. Oh! Phil.
This is how to play the game! Oh my god! What the fuck?
Oh my god.
I haven't been taking breaks recently because I've been playing.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we're here with the second video of the broadcast. We are here with Snort Burnell yet again, one of our favorites, or Snort Burnell 2, I should say. KO Gaming / DsPgaming, Pigroach Choice, disrespecting the Patreon goal. This is from September 16th of 2017. So this was actually 3 days before the first one. I should have put those in reverse. It's alright, it'll work out either which way. You guys will get the point. Here we go.
Destiny 2, and it's such a freaking grind, I just keep playing. But today I am definitely going to take a break. Breaks are good. The thing is, especially for someone like me who has what would be called a sedentary lifestyle, meaning, I mean, all day I'm sitting here playing games with you guys. You need to take breaks to get up and move. If you don't, there's a lot of health hazards. Number one, I have a back injury, and just sitting around not moving can actually make it worse. Number two, there's risk of, if you can believe it, blood clots, heart issues. If you're just sitting all day long and not getting up, that's a problem. So I need to start taking breaks again. I know for the past week I really haven't been taking breaks when playing Destiny 2. I have to start doing that again. Alright. So, I appealed to my patrons, and I said, listen, I really don't think it's going to make sense for you guys to vote for Super Mario Sunshine now. In addition to just the concerns that 3 Mario games back-to-back don't make sense, also, if you guys aren't aware, this is actually the best time right now to be putting out videos on YouTube, starting right now and through December, because this is the big advertisement-heavy season. This is the time when most YouTubers go gung-ho into YouTube, because they know if they put out videos now, they're going to make the most amount of money. For me, being real here, real talk with all of you,
This is one of the most important times of the year because whatever videos I put out now make a big lump of income for me.
that then allows me to survive through the slower months of early the next year. For example, typically, in January and February, ad revenue dips really bad on YouTube. So I have a few great months at the end of the year and then a few bad months, but it usually levels out because of the fact that I made so much early on, okay? However, if I play Mario Sunshine, if you guys aren't aware, I can't monetize it on YouTube. Why? Because Nintendo claims all first-party Nintendo videos on YouTube.
Now, keep in mind, though, Mario Sunshine was a Patreon goal, wasn't it? So he already had his $1,250 for that. But yet, Phil being Phil, oh, yeah, you guys paid me for it, so I owe it to you, but I can't monetize it, so we can't do it. On top of the fact that he's going to play it on Twitch, and he's gonna collect donations, and he's gonna get subs and all that shit for it anyway, which is what happened. But because he couldn't monetize it on YouTube, he didn't want to play it. Just saying. So much for you guys putting your hard-earned money down, Patreon's choice, only for that to get shitted from you.
YouTube. Alright? And that being said, that's terrible, because this is the time of the year when I really do need to, in order to actually keep things going, to keep the business running, to be able to keep doing this as a job, folks. and be able to provide you with these daily gameplay streams and videos on YouTube.
Yeah, see, now you guys see why I probably should have done this first. Because he was still calling it a business on the 16th, and then on the 19th, he disavowed everything. My bad. My fault.
Alright? I need to basically do the best thing for the business right now in order to keep it going. Because the bottom line is, if I play a bunch of games I can't make any money on now, and then come January, I can't make any money because YouTube ad revenue's down, I won't be here anymore. That's just being matter of fact, folks. That's just being matter of fact. That's not me trying to blow the situation out of proportion or being over dramatic. That's me being real with you. You know, when you make these decisions, we have to realize that you have to do the best thing so that I can still be here tomorrow. Now, the thing is, I could have made the decision and said, alright, well, now I'm banning Mario Sunshine from the running completely. And you know what would have happened if I did that? Here's what would have happened. Massive backlash, because the patrons would have said, but that was the game we nominated the most, and you're banning it? That's not fair, right? So, what I did...
He doesn't care about that, though. What he cared about, that's not the reason why he didn't ban it. It's a nice cover, but that's not actually the case. The situation was that if he had banned Mario Sunshine before the Patreon goal was hit, he wouldn't have hit the Patreon goal. And he wanted that 1250. He was dead set on that 1250. Hence the reason why he was so pissed off when he had to play Sunshine. When he finally had to play it, because you guys put the boot on his neck, put the pressure on and kept applying, right? The detractors are the ones who helped you do that, but whatever. At the end of the day, you guys, the Piggy Revolt did happen, and you guys did right by yourselves. Nobody else, you did right by yourselves. He was mad that he knew he didn't have the peripherals needed, at least not all of them, to go ahead and play it. To play that game. Because he had a GameCube, and he could have actually played it backwards compatible on the Wii. I don't know if the Wii U does that, but I know the Wii it does. Well, I guess it depends on what gen your Wii U is. Because my Wii U gen, or at least the two that I have, they both do it. I'm gonna have to look that up. But either which way, he can capture from his GameCube too. He's just gonna have to go through a couple of hoops, which is what I think he ended up doing. And it cost him about 135, let's say 150 bucks altogether. 150 bucks out of what, 1250? So small. He still walks away with a profit, but Phil wants everything. And that's what the situation really comes down to. He had to make sure, no matter what, that he hit that Patreon goal. Because if you guys remember what Patreon was looking like end of 2016, which is still before my time a little bit, and leading up to early 2017, shit was getting shaky, and Patreon was going through all this, or at least Phil said, Patreon was going through all this weird shit. He needed the confidence that comes out of hitting that 1250. That's the real reason why.
I made a poll based on the nominations, and it just so happens that the poll is going to end this weekend. This Sunday, actually, is when I'm going to close the poll. Alright? And of course, Mario Sunshine is winning the poll. Of course, I found out. I actually looked into it. And yes, it is true that many legitimate patrons, you know, people who are fans of mine, did actually vote for it.
And that's where he was, and that's the thing, the same excuse he uses right now when it comes to Patron's Choice, and which is the reason why he's hesitant to use it. He's afraid that real people are that trolls, I should say, are gonna come in and sway the vote. Now, you're probably like, well, GTG, how would he do that? Well, if you guys were paying attention on Twitter, if you weren't, don't worry about it. So I don't mean to sound condescending when I say that. He had sat there and doxed his pay piggies. Behind the scenes, he's able to see who these people are. At least that's my thought. So he recognizes the names. He's probably cross-referencing to see if they've donated before and so on and so forth. That's how he knows who's giving him legit money and who isn't. Which also goes a long way into backing up if he's really being given troll cheers and stuff on Twitch. Is he really winning all those disputes? Which he obviously isn't. Wings kind of proves that, to be honest, as well as others. So that's what his situation is there. Even if there were a bunch of troll Patreon cheers coming, or Patreon donations or contributions coming in, he's not going to refund it. He's not going to refund it, but he can use that as enough leverage to sway the vote and be like, oh, well, we're not playing this because we had a bunch of troll donations or so on and so forth. So that completely fucks up the poll now. Because only the trolls want me to do this so I don't make any money. Despite the fact that he's still going to make his $12.50 off Patreon.
Time, there was a group of assholes, a group of, yes, detractors, who actually are paid patrons of mine on purpose so that they can skew voting in a situation like this, and they all voted for it too on purpose once they saw that I asked to please not vote for it. So here's what we're gonna do. I did a compromise with everybody, okay? And people seem to like it. People are, the patrons are really liking the compromise, because basically it's a win-win for everyone. It's basically me going above...
It's not. He's lying about how people like this compromise when they were shitting on the playthrough as it was happening. At least not everybody, but most of them were. And since I think YouTube comments were disabled at this point, so I guess we'll never really know outside of his forums. And some people on his forums felt like they were gypped, because they were.
Beyond what's expected of me with this Patron's Choice playthrough, so allow me to explain. What I'm gonna do is on Sunday night, alright? On Sunday night, I'm going to close the poll. And we're gonna find out what's going on with it, what's the final results.
Oh my god, excuse me.
More than likely, Mario Sunshine's going to win the poll, alright? But then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna see what came in second place. Right now, I haven't checked the poll this morning, but as of last night, I checked it. So I should have said as of last night. The second place of the poll is actually Spyro 1. Now, this is interesting because I have never played a Spyro game before, ever. I don't even know. I mean, apparently it's an action platformer, but that's all I know. I've never played a Spyro game ever before. Okay? So that could certainly be interesting to see how that goes.
Now, did he play... Now, I'm sure someone knows. I don't know offhand. If the Spyro game that he's talking about, is that a remastered version of it, or whatever, an HD... update or whatever the situation was, because obviously it was already available on PSN, hence the reason why he put it up on the poll, I would guess, and hence the reason why he was okay with playing it. He throws his little $5 or $10 down, he has it, and he can play it. I can't remember, though, if it was like a remastered, because you know how Phil is about that, about HD remasters and so on and so forth. He's quick to play them. Like Phoenix Wright and Dr. whoever. That game that he's been waiting for. He was waiting for the HD remastered version to come out so he can play it. I think Spyro was no different, and it worked out. It worked in his benefit. At the end of the day, he still had to live to his obligation. He had to live up to his obligation, I should say, which is the reason why he was pissed off.
If that is the game that wins, I think the other games that are in the running right behind Spyro are Manhunt 1, as well as I think it's like SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom Bay, bumblefuck bouncing baby bullshit or something. I don't know what the game is called, but it's a SpongeBob game, alright? So, here's what's going to happen. Whatever gets second place is going to be the Patron's Choice playthrough for now, meaning, like I said, once I start wrapping up these new releases that I'm playing right now, when we get a little bit of downtime, it's going to be whatever gets second place in the poll will be the Patron's Choice playthrough.
That way, I can play it, I can monetize it.
It's not another Mario game that'll burn everyone out from watching it, and it'll be a fun playthrough for the now, alright? I am agreeing that because of this extenuating circumstances, that Super Mario Sunshine will be played. However, it will be played at a later date. More than likely, it's going to be in January, when we have tons of downtime. Typically, January is one of these very, very slow gameplay months.
And then he tried to push it back to, like, February. I think he tried to push it back to March. He might have even been trying to push it back as far as April. So, it was initially January. January came around, and he was coming up with excuses. If you guys have been around, you guys know what I'm talking about.
Typically, January and July are usually the two gameplay months. There's almost no new releases, nothing really going on. There's usually several weeks in January when there's just nothing happening. And that will be the time when I play Mario Sunshine, okay? So I'm making this commitment so that it's a win-win for everyone. We get a fun Patron's Choice playthrough now that I can actually monetize and doesn't burn everybody out. And then, come January, I play Super Mario Sunshine, which it seems a lot of people want to see. Okay? Sounds good? So again, win-win. The patrons are getting what they want, plus they're getting another playthrough. So basically, they're getting two playthroughs for the price of one.
No, you're not. I mean, you are, but you're not. Because at the end of the day, you didn't ask for that first playthrough. First off. Second off, and to prove that, further prove my point, he wasn't going to play Manhunt. We all know that. And he damn sure wasn't going to play SpongeBob, despite the fact that he never watched SpongeBob, despite the fact that he knows what the memes are. Whatever. So let's go ahead and look at it from this perspective. If Spyro wasn't number 2, and let's say SpongeBob would he have played SpongeBob? and then played Mario Sunshine? I want you to think about that for a minute. Would he really have done that? That's the first thing. Second thing is, and what is most important, because Phil had already spelled it out, he needs a playthrough that he can monetize. He needs a playthrough that he can monetize. Because he was playing Mario plus Rabbids, and he was playing, what, Super Mario Galaxy? So he needed a Mario, he needed something, and he's making money off all these games because he is streaming them, right? But he wants YouTube money. He wants YouTube money. You know what I mean? He isn't willing to leave the tit yet. He still hasn't. But so he was still dead set on that. Absolutely dead set on it. And he wasn't willing to give it up. So that's why he said, I need something to monetize, and then you guys still get 2 playthroughs. But in actuality, you're only getting what he's giving you. And at the end of the day, he's hoping to walk out as the bandit. Because he still got his $12.50 for Mario Sunshine, and he's going to get paid off Spyro from streaming and off YouTube. That's what he was the real winner in this. Just saying. DSP News.
I'll just throw this out there because it's hilarious. I knew this was going to happen as soon as I started talking about this. You notice there's some people complaining in the stream chat? You want to notice something about them? They're not patrons. These people aren't patrons. The people who are complaining are, guess who?
The same people who troll voted for Super Mario Sunshine. The detractors, the assholes. They want to stir up drama.
Wait, you just said though that all the Patreon donations that you received were legitimate because you checked. So now all of a sudden they turned into troll. They were troll Patreon donations now. You got to pick one, Phil. You said they were legitimate. Now you're saying that it was all trolls and detractors. So do you mean that it was legitimate as the money hasn't been charged back and the money's there? Or legitimate as in they were really people in your fan base? You got to pick one. Can't be both.
Word doesn't exist.
So they've been trying to spin this for the past couple of days, saying that I'm not going to play Super Mario Sunshine, and they've been spreading this drama all over the internet. It's completely false. It's actually the complete polar opposite. The patrons are getting double what they actually pledged for. They're getting double. 2 for the price of 1. But instead, they want to lie and say the complete opposite and say that they're not getting what they want. So they're fuckers. They're stupid fuckers. They lie all the time on purpose to try to make me look bad. And that's why I've been trying to tell people for days, don't listen to what they say. It's not true. And I will explain it when I'm ready to explain it, which I finally am. Okay? So, there you go. That's what's going to happen. I'm excited to see what wins the poll. Right now, it looks like it's going to be Spyro 1. And then, we'll see what happens. I'll let everyone know on Sunday night when I actually close off that poll. I'll let everyone know exactly what actually won, okay?
Coming up in early October, I'm going to be taking some time off. There's actually a 1-week time period where there's 0 new releases.
Shout out to Or Knights who did a 10-bit cheer. He said, any weird neighbors in your area that does anything unordinary that's not right? I'm not sure what you mean by that. Really, I only know very few of my neighbors because I've been so busy with work since I moved here. I honestly haven't had a lot of time to meet the neighbors. I mean, I have a next door neighbor to my right who is a retired employee of Boeing. It's an aeronautical industry. I believe she's in her 50s or 60s. So she doesn't work. She's retired. You have to think she's in her 60s. She doesn't work. And so she does a lot of the maintenance around here. Like, she does a lot of the yard work and stuff, like, gardening and stuff like that for the facility. And then to my left, it's a bunch of younger people, about my age, actually. And I know there's a married couple, as well as they have another person, I guess, who rents a room there. I'm not sure. But they have 2 dogs. They're nice people. But I don't really, we don't interact. We barely ever see each other. It's just we're in and out, going in and out of the houses. Maybe we'll see each other every once in a while. But it's not like I spend any significant time with these people. I don't really know anything about any of my other neighbors. At all. They're all inside. They're very private, Not to say that they don't have events. They do have events like, oh, come to the board meetings or whatever. But I'm too busy. I can't do that stuff. I'm here every day working, folks. So I don't get really to be social with my neighbors or anything like that. Don't know too much about them. But I can tell you, no, I don't know if any of them are doing weird shit. Some people wonder, gee, I wonder how Phil's neighbors react when they hear him yelling and screaming while he plays games, right? Well, this is funny. The other day, I was actually power washing my driveway. And I asked my neighbor, I said, I'm just curious, do you ever hear me when I'm in my office working? And she said, no. When I first moved here, she did hear me all the time. But it seemed like it stopped. I said, I know why. Because in 2015, when I started Patreon...
Now, I hope you guys see it's not really genius, I like to think that, but it's not. I hope you guys kind of see the ongoing trend that happens over here at GTG Network and Productions when certain videos are picked and whatnot, and also the ongoing genius of someone like a Snort Burnell, a Mighty D, and Mr. Huff Stuff, and so on and so forth when it comes to the videos that they put together, because this was also crucial, because since the piggy's gone, someone has to be watching the pig pen. Phil's sitting here telling you that someone's watching his house. Okay, fair enough. But just over a year and a half ago, he said he didn't know shit all about his neighbors. You think anything really changed from September of 2017 till now? But these are the people that are watching his house, occasionally coming by? You really think you're okay with having that old woman allegedly coming into your home, you know what I'm saying, getting your mail and making sure that everything's all cool when you really don't necessarily talk to her? You guys really believe the story that, I don't really know much about my neighbors, this, that, and the third. I just know about such and such, such and such, which I believe that was the woman that Panda had spoken to when they first got there, because Panda actually is social, so she went out to talk to some of the neighbors. Now, so do you guys really believe the cover story at all? Do you really believe that there's someone actually watching Phil's house? Just throwing that out there. Second thing, because I was talking to James the Lesser in Jupiter's Lounge, and Jackal's Lair, about this too. If you guys, it's one of James the Lesser's videos, because I was on stream with him, which was fun, by the way. Him and Jupiter and Jackal. If I can remember, I'll link that down in the description too, because I've already said that there's a video by James the Lesser. I need the link down there anyway. I'll see if I can link that down there too, where we talk a little bit about it, about how Phil's neighborhood is structured and the gates and all that bullshit. Either which way, do you also believe that Phil is asked this question, and then he randomly went to power wash his driveway, which we all remember this. We do remember this, because that's when he was still doing weekend previews, and he had commented about how red he was, and so on and so forth. So I do remember that video distinctly. He's down there power washing. He sees his neighbor, and you're randomly just going to go up to your neighbor and be like, hey, a woman that I barely speak to, do you ever hear me making noises, oinking, snorting, belching, or anything? Do you ever hear any of those things at all? Do you really think that's what happened? How random is that to walk up on your neighbor and be like, hey, do you ever hear, me cutting up bodies downstairs in my basement? You ever catch any sounds of that at all? No one asks their neighbors that silly shit. You don't. Trust me, if your neighbors really were suspicious of you in any way, shape, or form, they'd probably come up on you. Well, they'd ask. At least someone would. Maybe not all of them, but one of them would. That just seems like a weird thing to ask people. I don't know. I guess. Whatever. But it's funny how you bring this up. Nah, it's never happened. And then I have a story to go along with it to cement what I'm saying. So it's very convenient, Phil. Very convenient.
Right? I bought all the soundproofing foam for my office. So in 2015, I bought all this soundproofing foam, and it worked.
And even then, the soundproofing wouldn't be enough, especially if he has his window open, which he does, because that's how he has his air conditioner set up. He has like the wall, he has the, what's it called? He actually has one of those window units. So they're going to hear something. The soundproofing isn't going to get rid of all that.
So that's why no one hears me, because I got all the soundproofing foam to absorb the noise. So my neighbors don't hear me. That's good. As opposed to in Connecticut, in my condo where I used to live, that place, the walls were like paper. You could hear everything above, to the sides, everything. So that's why it's awesome that I live here and I have,
And yet you still sat there and threw your voice against the wall for years. For years. And the only one time I can think of someone shitted on you was during, I know someone's clipped it, because it's in a much older Detractor video. It was like a Spider-Man playthrough or something, when his neighbor told him to shut the fuck up, and he got real quiet. Because if I had to guess, it was in the middle of the goddamn night, probably early morning, I should say, and he's sitting there screaming about a whole lot of nothing. So I would assume that's what the situation was.
This office, a lot of people say, "Oh, I don't see the benefit." Well, that's because you don't live here. That's because you don't understand. You're talking from an outsider perspective. Alright, shout out to Chairman Caleb, who did a 20-bit cheer. He says, "You've been doing the permanent webcam stream for a while. I'm assuming you like the setup better because you haven't gone back. Personally, it's better seeing you and your reactions to the game." I'll be honest with you, Chairman Caleb. This is my God's honest truth.
Honestly, I prefer not doing the webcam.
Reason being, because when I'm doing the webcam, people demand that I wear some kind of a nice shirt every day. Phil must wear a nice shirt for stream. Phil should be brushing his hair for stream. It's like, dude, I'm just sitting down to play a video game. For me, it's like, why am I doing myself up to play a game? You know what I mean? But the thing...
Do you guys yet again continue to see how we got the noggin jogging over here? So, I had said in a couple of broadcasts ago, and other detractors have also brought this up on, what's the point of having a webcam? Like, seriously, like, he comes on stream looking like a fucking slob, right? The guy won't even fucking shave. You're on camera. Thousands of people are going to watch you, and you want to look like a bum. You don't need the webcam and whatnot. He comes on. He looks like he ain't just rolled up out of bed. I'd be surprised if he actually brushed his teeth and whatnot. You just throw on some random shirt that you found, and then you're on. Period. You look like a goddamn slob. So, what's the point of having a webcam? You don't add anything to the experience. Hence the reason why people keep pushing the narrative of him getting a green screen. Because we don't need all that extra outlining behind him too. Of his shitty ass room. No one needs that either. That doesn't add anything to anything. It really don't. But he's so goddamn lazy that he don't want to do nothing about it. Especially when, what did they say? They say his camera's at what? At 480? 480p? You look like a slug. So just get rid of it. Now right here, excuse me, as you guys just heard, him bitching and complaining about, oh, people want me to have my hair nice, people want me to wear a nice shirt, this, that, and the third. You're getting frustrated with the fact that people want you to look presentable for the product that you're putting out that you're going to profit from. Are you fucking serious? It's just really... This is the problems that Phil Burnell had back in 2017. You look at Phil Burnell now, he just looks like a piece of shit. He always did, but, you know, people tried to get him to take some pride in what he does. Which means if you're going to put your face on camera, at least present yourself in a way that you're trying to be professional and you look like you give a shit. That's what it comes down to. If not, you look like one of these slobby piece of shit fucking basement dwellers who have no life. Which is pretty much what you are. Except for you're fortunate enough to be above ground. That's really it. TSP News.
There's so many streamers who would literally treat their streams like entertainment shows that they do. They fucking have lighting and they put makeup on their fucking faces. They dye their hair.
Entertainment shows? Yes, Phil, you are a Twitch streamer and you have to be entertaining. That's the thing. That's the narrative we get now. Back in 2017, man, fuck all that. I'm not doing that shit. It's just like back in the day before that, back in Connecticut, where he used to just lay down on his couch and play video games. Not even sitting up playing, laying down and playing. Drunk most of the time, I would assume. Oh, how times have changed, right, Phil?
They do all this crazy shit that I don't do, alright? But I knew, earlier this year, I knew that when I was going to be adopting a more full-time streaming kind of a mentality, and that I was going to be focusing more on the live interactive audience than on YouTube, that people were going to want to see me on webcam because it had already become the standard for live streamers. Not to say that all of them do it. There's still some streamers who don't use webcam at all, which, that's like a holdout audience, honestly, because most of them do it now. But I knew people would say, oh man, Phil's really not taking this seriously if he doesn't use webcam all the time. And honestly, it's not more work for me. The webcam's set up. It does it automatically. It's not like, you know what I mean? It's not like I have to go out of my way to make the webcam work. It's not a ton of extra work or anything like that. So, it is what it is. That's why I do it. It's not because I like it. It's because people seem to like to see me on camera. Like you just said, I think they like to see my live reactions. They like to see that versus kind of guessing how I'm reacting. You know, there's been a lot of moments this year. Alright? There's a lot of moments this year that have been accentuated by the fact I think that there was a webcam on, right? You have to see my live reaction to something. Alucard just said the most ridiculous...
Yeah, the flapping. That we all saw how that worked out for you.
Out-of-place comment ever. You ready? Well, Lyric doesn't do that, and he has 30,000 viewers at a time, always. LOL. Yeah, Lyric. You know, the guy who's been a full-time streamer for a bajillion years, was known for full-time streaming. You know, the guy who makes a living doing it for multiple years, and therefore he has a giant holdout audience, and people go to him because he's the go-to guy for streaming since he's done it for so long.
Of course! Duh!
Hold on, let me say something else that makes so common sense. The sky is blue when there's no clouds in it. Let's see, grass is green. In general, it's usually green.
It's like, gee, let me quote, gee, But PewDiePie doesn't do something, but he gets millions and millions of it. Well, because he's the biggest fucking YouTuber, stupid. I mean, hold on. Let me do...
If you're gonna type an actual message like that, like just save your energy. It's such a silly, ridiculous thing to say.
I prefer a penne. Oh! Easy.
This is how I play the game. Oh my god! What the fuck?
Holy shit! That is an epic fucking intro, dude. And I have to warn everyone. Warning. What you may see right now is going to be absolutely disgusting. Sound good?
Alright, sounds good to me.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are here for the final video in our broadcast, and coming back to the modern day. Trip down memory lane is nice. Can't wait for Tevin to do another back in time segment. Ladies and gentlemen, we are here, sadly, but for the last video of the broadcast was Burnell, GTG. Oh yes, a guide allows more content and threats against Kiwi farms. Here we go.
Kanji Monster cheered. He says, don't use a guide, get whatever ending you're going to get organically. Well, here's the thing. If you do that, you miss out on a ridiculous amount of content of the game, and that's fucking stupid in my opinion. I think that's stupid, being very honest with all of you. You know, playing through a game, especially a game like Sekiro, that's so hard, and working your ass off, and then finding out at the end, oh, by the way, you missed out on like 8 to 10 hours of gameplay content, because you didn't go talk to a certain NPC at a certain point in the game to get a cryptic dialogue tree unlocked. You didn't fast travel 7 times back and forth across the game talking to people around the map to know that this unlocks a new area. That is really dumb. Alright, Bullet Club has subbed for 4 months and says, hey Phil, would you consider the place you live a good cycling city, and would you ever cycle there? I'll be honest with you, Bullet Club. There are...
Alright, first things first. Cycling. Physical activity in general without someone carrying them, that's funny. Anyway, as it pertains to Sekiro and using the guide, we all knew this. It was pretty easy to tell. The problem isn't that Phil is using a guide necessarily. He just wouldn't fess up to it. So you lying about a situation it was just a bad look. One, you're not using the guide expressly for what you're saying you are. It's very obvious that you're not just using it to find extra content so you can find out this, that, and the third about the story. It's not just that. Because if you're going through the trouble to find all that, then guess what, ladies and gentlemen? He's also going through and looking for the easiest way to cheese out a boss, which is what he's been doing. So that's the first initial problem. Secondly, it's very obvious that a game that he's been sitting there week after week, well, yeah, it's been like 2 weeks, I guess, for the last week or two, crying, complaining about it's too goddamn hard, this, that, and the third, bitching and complaining. Why are you trying to drag it out? Why are you trying to set things up for a redemption run? Why are you doing all these things for a game that you said is too goddamn hard? It's not a traditional, whatever he said the genre was. It's just too difficult. It's just block, 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 parry, 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 and that's not fun. Then why are you trying to drag it out by 10 more hours? Why are you trying to replay it? And if you hate the game so much and you say the bosses and the mini bosses are so hard, I'm supposed to believe that you're looking up every little secret that you can find to get all the different attachments and power-ups and this, that, and the third to get the character overpowered, which is obviously what he's going for. But that you're also not going to look up strats for beating the boss characters? How naive does he really think people are? That's the fundamental problem with the whole guide situation. Just my opinion, though. Ladies and gentlemen, this is supposed to be a playthrough, which means it's supposed to be organic. All the extras, bells and whistles and all that shit, that's supposed to come with the redemption run, which he's already planned on doing. So why is it so important to try to find all of that stuff now, keyword, all of that stuff now, when you're going to redemption run it later? Food for thought. Dspnews.
Cycling paths and certain roads in this area that have a cycling lane, but from what I'm to understand, the actual city of Seattle, where I do not live, I live on the outskirts in a suburb, has a lot of cycling, a lot of that kind of stuff going down, and it's actually like a hotbed of cycling activity. What the hell's going on? I think my oh, there we go. I was gonna say, I think that, my Streamlabs crashed, but it didn't. It just, for some reason, that message stayed on the screen for an exorbitant amount of time. Okay. But anyway, from what I'm understanding, in Seattle, there's a lot of cyclers, but at the same time, I've read articles over the years that said cyclers are nervous because, like, basically, even though there's bicycle lanes and all that, people still regularly get into accidents, and, you know, trying to cycle through a busy city can be incredibly dangerous.
That's anywhere. So it's not an excuse. I'm sorry, but that's anywhere. Any person who cycles, especially in the city, you know that. You know what I'm saying? And as busy as Seattle is, the Emerald City, people cycle in New York. They actually have runners, or they have cyclers, I should say, that do that for professional purposes in New York. And shit gets real out there. Jersey, too. Definitely in Chicago. And DC ain't nothing to play with. So what's your excuse? Your excuse is because it happened to some people, and I'm sure it does, don't get me wrong. And it's terrible either which way. That, oh, it's going to happen to you, so you're just not going to do it. Then that kind of leads back into the reason why Phil doesn't want to leave his house. And this goes back to what I've said, that he's not living, he's merely existing. If you're scared of every little thing that's outside, you're not going to go outside. So what the fuck can he really tell you about the world when he's too scared to go out into it? Just saying. DSP News. Speaking of which,
So, yeah.
there are bike trails and stuff you can go on too, by the way. There are parks devoted to just cycling around. That completely takes you away from the actual city, from city streets, I should say. Just saying. DSP News.
Yeah, so I don't know what to tell you. Like, I would say, I'll be honest, if I was a cycler, I would not want to be riding around here. There's a lot of... Everywhere I've ever lived, there's assholes on the road who just are terrible at driving, and there's just more and more of them. The more that I get older, I just see more assholes who just have no fucking idea what they're doing. They have, like, no concept of how to drive and be safe. So, I wouldn't want to be the guy on a bike who sadly gets
This is coming from the same guy who was in, what, one, maybe two car accidents. One car accident, he wrecked the car, which allegedly messed up his back, but then he bitched at his mom about how at his mom and dad, mainly his mom, about all the rules that were being imposed on him. And then the second car crash, which you heard about recently, left half of his face fucking severely burned, and he was bleeding all over the place, this, that, and the third. Sounds to me like he's one of those asshole drivers, if you ask me. But you didn't actually ask, so I guess that's just me talking. DSP News.
swiped by a car, some asshole on his fucking phone, or, you know, eating a fucking sandwich as he drives, lettuce and fucking shit flying all over his car, or he's smoking a fucking cigarette, or even worse, vaping, and he can't see because the fucking steam is in his face, and he just clobbers you, you know. Cycling in this day and age on a road is a very risky venture, but there are many parks and things that are set up for cyclists, so there you go. That's as much as I know about the situation. Okay,
But you still didn't answer his question if you would ever do it or not, though. Alright, whatever.
Received an anonymous dollar tip talking about my tweet yesterday. Alright, very briefly, I'm going to address this, and that's that.
Okay. To make a long story short on this shit, this idiot, in his infinite wisdom, right, had the nerve to come out publicly and say that people on Kiwi Farms were publicly planning to break into his house. And had the nerve to sit there crying about it on Twitter. And he brought all of this unnecessary attention to that shit like it meant anything. Like, at the end of the day, right, Phil keeps talking to us about all the safeguards and this, that, and the third, whatever. Alright, fair enough. So then what are you crying about? Like, if you have faith in the system and how, you know, secure your house is, then what do you worry about? You didn't worry about this before with Panda. You know what I'm saying? You didn't worry about any of this shit on all those other staycations that you had or other vacations you took, at least staycations. When you actually left your house and went to a hotel that was like 30 minutes away from your house and did stay there for like 3 or 4 days. It wasn't a concern then, but it's a concern now. It's almost like someone's paying attention to what Wings is doing and decided to go ahead and call attention to that shit, knowing that they weren't being serious, nor were they alluding to what Phil's saying. But it's a nice play because, oh, Wings is getting tormented at his house. Oh, well, these guys might actually try to break into my house. At least that's what it sounds like. Or that's how I'm going to spin it. Just saying.
So, yesterday, I'm about to have my day off. You know, it is my day off. I'm about to, like, head out for the day. And I received 3 separate emails from concerned viewers saying that they kind of monitor the stuff that goes on over on a certain website, and that people were actually publicly talking about ways to try to break into my house when I'm visiting my parents in Connecticut. And they were like, this is
Now, keep in
terrible.
mind, ladies and gentlemen, this same certain website was the same website that Phil, at like 3 a.m. in the morning, decides to tweet about asking, why is Kiwi Farms down? At 3 o'clock in the morning. His time. So, you know, he said when he says that I have people who monitor what's going on over there, I'm sure you do, Phil. You're also reading what's going on over there, too. We've already proven that. Nice way to try to distance yourself from the situation, but we already know. Kind of like that whole situation with getting Tevin and those other guys knocked off Twitch. You know, I didn't do it. I just sent them to do it. Right, Phil? Right, Phil? Right.
Like, I don't know if anyone's serious. They might just be a bunch of kids dicking around. But it's kind of fucked up that they're actually on this particular website, and they're just talking about this stuff. Okay? Now, I don't know anything about it. I don't go to the website. I don't care about the website. But I literally made a quick tweet in the morning saying, well, I've got word that people on this certain website are apparently talking about and or planning to break into my home, you know, despite the fact that, number one, I have a security system. Number two, there's security cameras throughout this area, and it's a private road, and going on the road is breaking the law. Number three, I have a house sitter coming by daily to check on the house. And number four, I'm telling my neighbor that I'm going, and my neighbor also keeps an eye on my house. So it's like, if you really...
Wait. Now, this is where I wish I had clipped the conversation that I had with Jackal, James the Lesser, and Jupiter's Lounge. Shouts out to all 3 of those guys, by the way. Cool people. Where we talked about this a little bit. I wish I had clipped that. I wish I had. I probably still can. If not, we can talk about it in another video. Just remind me. In either which case, we were talking about some of these, some of the general issues that came about with this. One of the main discrepancies I have a problem with is he says that he has a house sitter who apparently is not his neighbors. Right? So my neighbors know I'm going out of town, but I have a house sitter. And then we have cameras. And then this is a private road. Ladies and gentlemen, one, there's an override code to every apartment security, to every apartment gated community, as well as housing community, gated community. That's all I'm going to say about that. So that's the first thing. Second thing is, as long as you do not look suspicious in that neighborhood, there will be no problems. That's the next thing. Third, what's this whole thing about cameras? Now, I'm not saying that he's lying about that. It's just, it's the first time he's ever brought that up. And he feels that the situation is so dire that he needs to bring that up right now, despite the fact that he already admitted that it could be just a couple of people dicking around talking about the situation, not actually planning, just talking about it. All right, whatever, you know, sometimes you have to be cautious, whatever. So we have the camera situation, and then, as Jupiter pointed out, the guy has like 2 fucking large fences that goes around this community, which calls another thing into question, by the way, on the circumstances behind that swatting. In the fact that it might have not actually have been a swatting, but it might have been just a wellness check, because there isn't enough room for all these officers to be able to get in. Right? All these squad cars and so on and so forth to get in and make it a swatting. But Phil himself has said that there are fucking cop cars all out in that bitch. You know what I'm saying? All over the place. But how would that have been the case when it's visibly shown that there isn't enough room for all of that to happen? But I'm still working on that. I have to talk to Jupiter about it a little more. So that's something in progress. Does any of this sound right to you? Now we're paying a professional house sitter to come in. Well, house sitters usually stay in the house, Phil. That's kind of the point of paying a house sitter. They don't just come in, check periodically, and leave. That's what your neighbors are for. A house sitter actually comes in and maintains the house for you while you're gone. And you got to pay them. You can't give them shouts out on your little YouTube channel like you did with the movers. You would actually have to compensate them. And you have to be comfortable with a complete and total stranger in your house for a week, basically, taking care of your shit. That's what a house sitter does. Just saying. Not all house sitters actually have to stay overnight, but they're going to spend a decent amount of time there. Just saying, Phil. That's really what we're doing? All right. Dspnews?
Want to go to jail? You know? If this is your goal, you really just want to go to jail. You know, I don't know what else to say, but you'd be an idiot. Okay? Plus, I don't have anything worth stealing in this house anyway. It's not like this is a house full of jewelry and fucking goods. You know what's in here. An old computer. An old computer. And beat up game consoles and shit. There's nothing of any value in this fucking house. But anyway, I basically just posted this up on Twitter, and I said, well, I sure know if anything happens during my time away, we're to send the police to investigate right away. And that's all I said. It was basically just a heads-up tweet saying, hey, anyone who's getting stupid ideas, I've taken precautions, so don't be stupid. And that's basically all the tweet was meant to be. It was a hilarious amount of idiots from Kiwi Farms who tweeted me, basically, oh, we didn't do that, and you didn't do... It's just so hilarious to see the reactions from idiots.
Okay, where's the evidence? Present evidence of what you're saying.
That come out of the woodwork to say shit like, we didn't do that, that's not us, you think you could shut down Kiwi Farms, you think you could do that? It's like, I don't even care. And the thing is, I didn't even read any of it until the end of the day when I got home. I opened up my Twitter, and I'm like, this is comedy gold. Because all it was people so butthurt and so defensive about this tweet that I was like, this is fucking great. I can't believe it.
Now, here's the thing. One, I agree with Snort Burnell. I agree with a lot of the guys on Kiwi Farms where it just shows more and more of his paranoia. And it's amusing, but it's starting to become more and more sad. That's the first thing. Second thing is, and this is something that's long-standing. This is the reason why people were able to find him when he moved out there to Washington in the first place. You're basically daring people to come out there and try something. You're dog whistling in some ways. No pun intended. With that being said, you keep knocking, you keep going out there knocking, someone's eventually going to answer you. You call for the devil long enough, the devil will show up. And that's kind of what you're doing. And I think one of the major issues outside of the paranoia and all this nonsense is you think this is trolling. You think you're being funny, but if someone goes in there and cleans that apartment, well, not your apartment, but someone goes in and cleans your house out, what are you really going to do? Even if your neighbors were to say anything, they got their own lives. They're not watching your house at every minute of every day. You barely, if ever attend any of your homeowner association meetings. So they have an interest in you because you're part of their community, but you're not really part of their community. Most of them probably don't even know who you are. So if, for example, a moving truck popped up out there, or a U-Haul or something popped up in the middle of the night, and as long as there isn't a whole lot of ruckus, it wouldn't be surprising that that house gets cleaned out in the span of a night. Under reasonable circumstances, as someone who's helped people move a lot, because I'm a good friend like that, or at least I like to think I am, if you have 4 people who are sitting there, who are moving a person out room by room by room, that can all be done, especially a house of Phil's size. The majority of that shit can be taken out of there in 3 hours. Easy. That shit's coming out in like 3 or 4 hours. And that can be done quickly and rather quietly, under reasonable circumstances. If you're talking about clearing the house out altogether, it could probably be done sooner than that. So actually, let's say instead of saying 3 or 4 hours, you could probably get the majority of the stuff out of Phil's house in 2. What is of value, I should say. And if you want to clear the whole house out, you can probably get it done in 5 or 6. Now, it depends on what we're going for. Since you want to break it down, Phil, and you don't have anything in there useful. Your TVs, all of the computers, not just the one, all of them, all of your fucking dusty ass systems. What else does he have really of value? To be honest with you. I mean, you could probably take the couches and love seats downstairs. That's probably it. Probably his refrigerator. You can definitely get his refrigerator and whatnot. You could clear out all the appliances and all of the little accessories and shit out of there in an hour or 2. Easy. It probably wouldn't even take that long. Just saying, Phil, I'm not dog whistling or anything. I'm not giving anybody any ideas. What I'm saying is that you've painted yourself into a corner. You've set a very dangerous precedence about trying to dare people to do certain things to you. And then when it gets done, you want to cry poor. Or you want to sit there and victimize yourself saying that, I don't know why these people would do this to me, yada, 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 yada. You have to think before you talk. It's not hard to find you. Everybody knows. It's just like when you can, sadly, when you can Google Wings of Redemption and his address pops up, so does yours. as well as very detailed schematics of your house. Shit, there's a guy on Kiwi Farms, which was dope, by the way. Sadly, I don't have the picture on me, who actually made a layout, a layout diagram of Phil's room, and then made another layout diagram of how Phil could effectively move his room around to make things just flow better and it to be much more efficient. And it's great. Phil would never go with it, sadly, but it's great, to be perfectly honest with you. You're making it out that everybody's out here trying to hurt you, and it's not the case. If you consider criticism as hurting you, then you, Bad Bunny, and the rest of y'all just need to take yourselves off the internet. It's obvious that you're too soft for this shit, if that's really the case. But you, Phil, are certainly taking it to a level where you don't want this. You've been already, and I use air quotes now for this shit, after talking to Jupiter, you were allegedly swatted. I mean, why keep poking at this shit? Why keep waking the sleeping giants like this? It's not worthwhile, and you're not getting anything out of it. You're sitting here chuckling about that shit now. That shit hits you close to home, you're going to be making another video crying about it. And get mad when people don't take you seriously. DSP News.
How hilarious it was, the responses that I saw on Twitter, okay? For one tweet, and by the way, like I said, it wasn't even like I had said, oh, and it's concretely happened or whatever. It's like, I just heard, so, a few people have told me this, and so just, and heads up, this is a really stupid idea. No one be dumb and break the law because you're going to get in trouble for it, okay? It's basically all the tweet said, but people take that as like some kind of a crazy accusation, which it wasn't. And I even said in the tweet, this is what I've been told, not, oh, I saw this for myself. So I just find it hilarious that I got so many people responding, but her, oh, it's missing us. Like, oh my god, fucking hilarious. But anyway, that's it. That's the whole story, and there's nothing else to it. All right, that's it.
What am I doing?
Number one.
Did you see that? Oh.
Sounds like Mass Effect just finished. The Mass.
Oh.
Those are still rough.
Why am I doing this? Oh my god, what the fuck am I doing? What am I doing? I shouldn't be doing that. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. New phase of creation. How about you stop with your bullshit? Now he's, oh, no, people were laughing at Phil. I don't know what he's talking about. How about you read my Twitter feed, stupid? Why am I toxic? More toxic, more toxic. A 100% negative and toxic person. New phase of creation, this is why you've been banned 5,000 times. Because you're a contrarian. When I say shit that's definitively backed up by facts, you come into the stream chat to basically try to poke me and say, no, Phil's, that's a lie. Shut the fuck up. I'm going to tell you right now, unless you want to be permanently banned again, I'm not going to have you sitting in the stream chat jabbing at me. Yeah, that didn't happen. Yes, it did. Dude, I had like 50 fucking replies from people from Kiwi Farms who were butthurt about the tweet. So how about
3 emails and now 50 fucking responses from Kiwi Farms. You have time to read all of that, but you don't have time to read the emails that people who say, can you unban me? And why are you getting so upset about this? If it's true, then it's true. Who cares what anybody says? But you're actively getting upset about it. And, more often than not, most people are blocked on your Twitter anyway, so how would they be able to see it? I don't know, Phil. It sounds like the lie is unraveling almost as quickly as it was unfolding.
just shut the fuck up? Over 1,800 milligrams of sodium. 1,800 milligrams of sodium. I need a sip.
Vote Democrat did 101-bit cheer. He says, I saw on Twitter that Kiwi Farms is threatening. All right, it's the same thing. I literally just explained the situation. But yeah, it's stupid. Like, anyone who even thinks it's funny to talk about that. Oh, we were actually meaning to do it or anything. We're just kind of talking about it on our forum. It's still fucking stupid. It could actually be used in prosecution as intent. You see what I mean? Like, they could actually say, well, here's people publicly talking about doing it, and then someone did it. There's your proof of intent, right? So, it's actually evidence of a crime. If those people were smart, they would actually go to Kiwi Farms and delete all that shit. I'm serious. They just delete it all. Because that's the dumbest fucking thing you can do. But then again, we know the people who post over there aren't the fucking smartest people on planet Earth anyway, right? Number one DSP fan tipped me $1. Says, when the whole tax thing is somebody finalized, would you ever consider joining a gym again? Maybe. There are many, many gyms out here. in Washington State. You know, this state is a very, very health and green oriented state. It's all about fitness and health, and it's also all about being green and recycling.
Wait, how is he going to have time to go to a gym when he doesn't? How is he going to have time to go to a gym when he says he doesn't have time to go to a part-time job? How is he going to have time to do anything recreationally when it comes to when he spends every devoting minute of his day focused on the business? It seems a bit counterintuitive to me. How is he going to do any of that? Like, what are you talking about, Phil? You told us for years that you can't afford to sit there and take breaks and do this, that, and the third, despite the fact that you ain't taking breaks, this, that, and the third, because you have to devote all your time to the business because you're so behind. And you have to make all this money up, and you owe all this money in debt. Now, all of a sudden, you would consider getting a gym membership? Really?
And not polluting. There's so many hybrid cars out here, it's insane. Like, I'd say probably about a third of the cars on the road are hybrids. It's how crazy it is. So, you know, that being said, yeah, I mean, it would be in my best benefit to start working out and stuff. Absolutely. But right now, there's just no chance of that. I have no money and I have no time. I have to literally be here streaming as much as I possibly can to make ends meet. There's no way that I could afford to do anything like that. So,
I don't have time to exercise. Real talk.
hey, Tart, cheers. I recommend I would recommend. Oh my god. Let's try this again. I would recommend you to read Dark Places like Kiwi Farms daily. It might save you from big troubles by being well informed about future harassment. The bottom line is I want nothing to do with it unless it is something serious that could actually directly affect me, because I know those people fucking just say and do ridiculously bad stuff every day. Things that anyone with a moral compass would be like, what the fuck am I doing with my life? This is horrible. I'm a horrible person. But they just do it there, and apparently it's a safe haven for that kind of shit. And I want nothing to do with it. I want nothing to do with the toxicity and shit over there. Nothing. I just want to focus on my own streams. But I am grateful for when people who do kind of monitor that stuff every once in a while will contact me and say, hey, Phil, FYI, there's some kind of really vile stuff going on. You should be aware of it to protect yourself. That I do appreciate. So, Bagel Goose cheered and said, would you ever consider putting up a poll for a new couch mascot? No. The couch mascot is not a big deal. It's just kind of something silly. And, you know, would I like to have a rotating mascot? Yeah, but I don't really care that much about it. If you guys are really so bothered by Chestnut, I'll just remove him, and we won't talk about him anymore.
What? Oh, Phil actually is a really toxic person, so we're just gonna keep saying, why am I toxic?
Are you really jealous of a stuffed animal? Is this what I'm hearing? You're jealous over a stuffed animal. Something that you started. You just get a different animal for each. Ask Monday Matt for Polly the polar bear or some shit. It's just something that you rotate out every month. You're letting that bother you so much. Is the attention... Do you need their undivided attention, Phil, at all given times that you don't want a mascot up there? You don't want a stuffed animal? You don't want a stuffed squirrel to be taking any time away from you? It's amazing, being that you don't mind cat getting stuffed, but whatever.
Because it's a meme. Yep, I'm toxic.
They'll just wait for October for Potion to come back. Because at this point, so many people bring it up as some kind of a stupid meme, I just don't care anymore. I'm serious. I thought it was something cute and nice with Potion, and then we had the dog for Christmas. I thought we'd have this cute squirrel for the spring, and so many people just complaining about it at this point, maybe it's not even fucking worth it. Spaghetti Teeth. Whatever the hell kind of a name that means. Spaghetti Teeth. Did an $8 tip. It says, will you please unban me? I've learned my lesson. Spaghetti Teeth, I have no idea who you are. I couldn't unban you even if I wanted to. I've never heard of the name Spaghetti Teeth. And so, you know, I've only explained the formal rules for being unbanned about 1,000,000 times. If you'd like to be unbanned or be considered for an unban in the stream chat, okay, you need to either private message one of the mods and explain to them the situation, and hopefully they'll consider you getting unbanned, or you need to email me at darksidefil@hotmail.com, and please, by all means, include your Twitch name. I know that sounds silly. I'm not even kidding you. At least once a week, I get someone contacting me via email explaining, I think I was unjustly banned and I would definitely like to come back. And they don't give me their Twitch name, and I just facepalm. I'm like, oh boy. Judy just echoes did another 100-bit cheer. Says, I didn't realize you had glasses. Vaguely recall seeing you wear them years ago, but I thought they were a prop or a gimmick. No, I have glasses for distance vision. So if I do need to drive on the highway, I need my glasses. And that's literally the only thing I need glasses for. Or I would say, let's say, for example, if I was in school, I would need glasses if I was sitting, like, in the middle of the class or the back of the class to see the board, the chalkboard. I would need the glasses then. But outside of school or driving on the highway, I've never needed to use my glasses ever. So.
Wait, but yet you sit there and bitch and complain every day, about your eyes hurt, your eyes are burning, your eyes are dry, this, that, and the third. you make visible mistakes in your gameplay that shouldn't have been made. You should have been able to see that. Now, keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, the lack of reflexes and reaction time on his part is a thing because he never took care of himself. But it's obvious, too, that there are certain situations that he can't see. It's been pointed out by a bunch of people. There's nothing fucking cool, Phil, about going blind. Just saying.
Wow.
All right, Spaghetti Tea tipped me another dollar. And now he says, this is my Twitch name, unban me. Swaggin's got mad at me because I asked a silly question. Unban, oh my god, your mods won't unban me. Literally, just because you ignored what I said earlier, I'm not going to unban you. I just said, you either message a mod or you can email me. Then you tip me again to spam and demand being unbanned. Now I'm not going to unban you. Now, if you want to email me and explain what really happened, not mashing caps, by the way, he had caps lock on when he typed this whole message, I will look into it. But I'm not going to look into it right now, and I'm certainly not going to unban you now because you're demanding it after I told you exactly how to be unbanned. Okay? So, I don't know what else to say. It's not rocket science here, guys. A couple really annoying things that happened today. First of all, I got a copyright strike against DsPgaming that appears to be 100% bogus. It's from Cody Wright, the composer of ToeJam and Earl. Okay? Basically the guy who played all the bass guitar for the game. Supposedly put a copyright strike, not a claim, a strike against my channel for ToeJam and Earl Back in the Groove Part 1. It seems to be 100% bogus. The guy is not an internet-savvy guy. He doesn't even have, like, social media. He has a Facebook page he doesn't use. And he has his own personal website that looks like it was, you know, it's a very old-school website. You can definitely tell the guy's probably in musician circles, but that's it. I don't think it's legit. I've already tweeted the official Twitter account of ToeJam and Earl asking them, could this really be legit? It looks fake to me. And I already put in a counterclaim against it, meaning within 2 weeks it's going to be removed anyway because no one's going to put a lawsuit against me.
First off, if I think it came down like after like a day, if I remember correctly. It was like a day or so the shit came down. So that was kind of the end of that situation. It didn't take nearly long at all. It's funny though too because if YouTube's all about just being an automated system and shit and it's all robots, how did he get such a quick response? Especially for someone who's not with an MCN anymore. But YouTube is just an automated system that's run by fucking robots and algorithms and shit, right? And nothing gets done over there, and YouTube keeps fucking up the business. Yet they made that copyright strike go away. Huh. It's kind of like, ladies and gentlemen, if he had sat his ass down during that false flagging or the false copyright strikes over the fan art and let those people do their goddamn job instead of him going off the handle and erasing all those videos, maybe he'd be in a better place today. Maybe. You know what I'm saying? It's just a situation, and it's how people react to the situation is who's at fault. These people sat there and put you in a spot, and you reacted poorly. You can keep blaming them if you want to, that's fine, but at the end of the day, it was you who chose to react the way you did, without getting any counsel or anything. And it's funny how, Phil, you're so quick to, prove yourself, like with that envelope with all those blank pages for your taxes. But yet you won't come out and read an email about a situation. But yet you didn't mind reading Blip TV's email. You didn't mind reading some of the emails that were sent to Machinima that were supposedly trying to take you down back in the day. But yet you can't read an email that Machinima or YouTube sent you about them with the express and explicit notion that delete those videos, Phil Burnell. You won't read that out to us, and you still haven't. So we're supposed to just go off your word that that's what they told you. Despite the fact that in the past, you didn't mind putting other people's information or what they said in emails and text messages and so on and so forth out there. Really? Really? All right. DSP News.
It's bullshit that this got through YouTube's copyright system, which, by the way, I should know, humans now review copyright strikes. This means that an actual human employee of YouTube reviewed this and did absolutely no diligence whatsoever to make sure it was legit and instead just issued it because they're a fucking moron.
Oh, you're gonna get salt. It's even now, again, my mouth overpowered with salt flavor.
But someone obviously looked at it so they could get this pushed through for you, yeah? And then we're fighting over what? A playthrough that no one watches anyway? By far one of the worst playthroughs of this year? This is what we're fighting for. Alright.
Yeah, it's stupid as hell.
Actually, think about that, ladies and gentlemen. He played the game once, spent $20 on it, ended up getting all that money and some and whatnot, and the game got discarded. What the fuck do you even play the game for? He didn't even play the thing the whole way through. He didn't even replay it. He might not. But he's crying over shekels. Alright.
And it's annoying as shit. And luckily for me, it looks like it's not gonna have any negative repercussions on DSP Gaming at all. It didn't actually, like, hurt me at all, so that's a good thing. But still, it's horseshit that another one slipped through the system. The thing is, I know I get false strikes filed against me all the time, but it's very annoying when one of them slips through because some idiot at Google idiotically approved it without confirming the identity of the person claiming, okay? So it is what it is. It sucks, but hopefully it'll get cleared up soon enough. Now, on top of all of that, while I was on break, eating dinner and spending time with Kat, I come back and none of the Sekiro videos have uploaded. Reason being, there was a YouTube error as the videos were uploading, and it errored all the videos out. So now I come back, none of them upload. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. So not only am I dealing with this stupid copyright strike bullshit during the break, then I come back and no work has been done. Oh my god.
As I've said many times, you know, people will get what's coming to them. It's called karma.
So, that means that after tonight's MLB stream, I have to re-upload all the Sekiro videos. Apparently there's an update for the game that downloaded today but didn't apply. Great. Well, I'm telling it to apply right now. Wait, what? It's a PS4. Oh my god. Guess what? We're stuck. We can't play yet. During today's streaming, a PS4 console update downloaded. And I just tried to play a game and it says you need to install this update to play any games. Oh my god. Today, I have had zero luck with anything, man. False copyright strikes, videos not uploading, and now I can't even fucking play the game because it has to install a console update. Ugh.
Burn in hell, Burnell. And now I'm going to burn in hell for the rest of eternity because of it. You can't change who you are, I guess. Hell is a place where it's very hot. There's, you know, it's torturous conditions. Fire, hail, brimstone. You know, your body is being ripped apart by demons who are shoving red hot pokers up your rectum. Not a nice place. Okay? What pasta do you prefer? I prefer a penne. Oh! Easy to eat. Oh! Phil's a faggot. Phil's fat. Phil's a loser. Phil's a beggar.
Yeah, I say there's some credibility to all that. Well, ladies and gentlemen, there you guys go. Oh man, that was a little longer than I thought it would be, but I'm actually kind of glad I was able to touch some bases. You guys are going to get an idea. I think you guys got an idea of where the tax video in the future is going to go. Thank you yet again to Snort Burnell for just the greatness which is Snort Burnell. So expect that over the next couple days while Phil's out of town. May go ahead and look back at some of those old videos, see what we can make out of it, because there's quite a bit there. So that should be cool. Now, ladies and gentlemen, what is the takeaway from all of this? If anything does happen to his house, he can't blame anybody but himself because he basically dared people to do it. It is what it is. As for the guide, he should have just been a man from the beginning and said, yes, I'm using a guide so I can play the game better. Then again, it would be counterintuitive of him to say that because he's planning on replaying the game later. I don't know. He just handled that whole situation wrong. As it pertains to losing the house and then pigroach choice, I think everything that was said in those two videos will be relevant up till today. This took place back in September of 2017. You can apply just about all of that to right now. April of 2019, sorry, almost said 2018. April of 2019, all that stuff still applies. Well, either which way, Phil, enjoy your vacation if you've made it this far into the video, Phil. Got something to watch while you guys are, while you're at home and whatnot, or at least you have something to watch while you get back, when you come back, sorry. And that's that. I'll see you guys for the next broadcast because I still have a couple more videos to catch up on and whatnot. So, should be fun nonetheless. Ladies and gentlemen, this was the Snort Report, and this is DSP News. Always late, never breaking, unreliable coverage that you can't count on. A GTG Network Productions. I've been your host, /anchor, GTG, and I'm signing off. Take care of yourself, guys. And thank you for everything. I mean that. Not just for myself, but for everybody here. It means a lot. See you guys on the next broadcast.